A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
What's new, Ethelbert?
I was just reading here where a fellow in town won $5,000.
How did he win it?
He sent in the winning name to a radio contest. See, $5,000 is a lot of money for a name.
Well, I don't know. A good name can be very valuable. What do you say, Tony?
Oh, yes, indeed. You know, some people buy a good name and other people earn it.
Like what?
Well, like Anchor Hocking earned their name by years and years of great work. And that's why today, Anchor Hocking is the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Our adventure for tonight, Too Many Angels. The Blue Note Cafe, early evening, and we find Ann Williams, news reporter for the Morning Express, perched on one of the high bar stools. Casey, with his camera and film case, hasn't arrived as yet, and Ethelbert, the bartender, for lack of something better to do, says,
Walter, you better bring up some more lemons.
And Ann says,
Gee, I hate to go home tonight.
Just hum the chorus, Miss Williams. Maybe I've heard it.
What chorus?
See how I hate to go home tonight? I never can remember popular songs.
Ethelbert, that isn't a song. That's how I feel on account of my apartment's being painted today. And I hate the smell of paint, and things are all upside down. I don't know how I'll be able to sleep.
Well, gee, my sister Edna'd be glad to let you use her. No, I guess you couldn't sleep on that. It's kind of...
Oh, thanks. Anyway, Ethelbert, maybe Casey will barge in with one of those all-night assignments.
Oh, I was hoping to catch you here, Annie. I got a great idea.
What'd I tell you? Speak of angels, and you hear the flapping of their...
Make mine the same, Ethelbert.
Yeah, sure, Casey. Coming right out.
Huh? Now, what's that about angels, Annie?
You tell me. A great idea, you said.
Yeah. I feel like stepping out for a change tonight, Annie. Dinner and a show. Later, we can drop in at the Top Hat Club.
Why, Casey, this is so sudden.
Sudden? No, I mean it. What's the best show in town?
How about Angel Face?
Angel Face. Well, that's a musical. It won't open till next Monday.
I'm with a bit of influence, Casey. I can get us in to see a preview performance tonight.
Hey, that sounds exciting.
How much influence, Ethelbert?
Oh, $100 worth.
100. Huh? Well, I don't get it.
Well, I was going to keep the news kind of subnormal until after I started getting weekly dividends.
You mean you put $100 into that show?
I'm what we call an angel, Casey.
I know what you are, but how did it happen?
You know how it is here in the Blue Note, celebrities and such. They get on the confidential side, you know. So a few months ago, when Miss Carling asked me did I want to take a crack at the big money...
It's, Carly.
Yeah, a blonde, Annie. First name's Eva. Sings, dances, is in the show.
Oh, the man with the photographic memory.
Thanks.
For blonde.
You must have seen her in here, too, Miss Williams. Pretty, but, you know...
So you gave Miss Carling your piggy bank, and later on you got a legal paper making you a limited partner in Angel Face.
Ain't it all right?
Legal, as I say.
So, if you folks will do me the honor, I'll be glad to escort you to the preview.
Suits me. I think it'll be fun.
I'll get my other coat. This is my night off if I want it, but I usually don't because why should I?
We'll have dinner together, too, Ethelbert.
Anything to keep me out of my four walls tonight. The apartment's being redecorated, and I'm afraid to go home.
Oh, Annie, what a sucker, that poor guy. I read the out-of-town notices. Angel Face is so bad they're going to have to produce it again before the critics can even call it a flop.
Oh, for heaven's sake, well, don't tell Ethelbert.
It cost $200,000 so far, Annie. Had all kinds of trouble, and on top of that, Carlo Chapman is the artistic genius behind the whole mess.
You mean the nightclub owner?
Yeah. Kind of a splash for $100 making that show, with or without Chapman behind it.
Oh, poor Ethelbert. Isn't there something you can do, Casey?
I ought to go backstage and turn Eva Carling over my knee and spank her.
Don't be silly. Huh.
I'll pay the taxi, Casey.
Oh, there seems to be quite a crowd going into the theater.
Yeah, friends, relatives, and chief mourners.
Now, don't let Ethelbert hear you.
That was a funny driver. I gave him a dime tip and he handed it back. Said I might need it myself. Well, let's go in by the stage door.
Why the stage door?
I want you should both meet Miss Carling. Miss Williams, she's a very charming chanteuse.
What?
That's theatrical language for singer, Casey.
Oh, I see. You're
Yeah.
studying up. Yeah. Okay, Ethelbert, let's go.
Now, this, Miss Williams, is the behind of the scene.
Sorry, no visitors. The doorman should have stopped you.
Mister, maybe you don't know it, but I own a considerable hunk of this show, and these here are friends. Mr. Casey and Miss Williams of the Morning Express.
Morning Express? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Jack Blake, stage manager. Anyone from the press is always welcome. But please excuse me, so many last-minute details, and it's almost curtain time. Make yourselves at home.
See, Casey? Angels always get in where fools fear to come.
Yeah.
Well, let's find Miss Carling's room. I want you should meet it.
Yeah, and wish you luck, too. Gonna need it with his turkey. Annie, watch your step with cables on the floor and sandbags overhead. The backstage of the theater's a dangerous place.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
What?
Over there near the door. See over the star on it? It's Carlo Chapman, owner of the Top Hat Club.
Well, tall, dark.
That crook is one man you're not going to meet, lady.
Oh. By the way, who's the star of Angel Face?
Andrea Ballou.
Should I be impressed?
You mean does La Ballou have talent? Well, just average. She's Queen Bee in this show, though, thanks to Chapman.
Oh, so it's that way.
Just some gossip everybody knows. Well, let's move along or we'll lose Ethelbert among these gorgeous gals. What's bothering you, Ethelbert?
Say, Casey, are those real, those diamonds?
Overture, Mr. Hanson. Overture, Miss Darcy. Overture coming up, Miss Carling. Well, we've enjoyed meeting you, Miss Carling. We'll get on out front. Good
You
luck.
look lovely, Miss Carling. That's a very original hairdo, sort of Veronica Lake-ish.
Yeah, it certainly hides your sort of blonde, I mean.
One of you wish me luck. I'm sorry I'm not myself tonight.
We understand. Preview butterflies, huh?
Yeah, something else. Nobody can kid me. This show is going right down the drain. Right now, I know it. I sure wish you had your money back, Ethelbert.
Well, gee, Miss Carling, where there's life...
Life? Yeah. Angel Face might live if Andrea Ballou drops dead. She's a double-crossing microbe with a neat pan and a mink coat.
Don't you like her?
Ever since I can remember, Ballou has been in my way. I should have had that star part, so I'm lucky to be her understudy. Someday I'll take care of that she-devil. She can't push me around. I won't take it.
Sorry to have to shoo you out, folks.
Oh, that's all right.
That's all right, we understand.
Well, what's wrong with you, Eva?
Nothing at all. You ought to know everything's just that.
Sorry, Mr. Casey, Miss Williams. Everybody's keyed up tonight. Follow me. We can go down these stairs.
I don't know if it would help or not, Mr. Blake, but suppose I take a few shots of your star.
Miss Ballou? You mean now?
Why not?
Why, yes, we can use some publicity. That's her dressing room. I'll see if she's ready.
This is your night to howl, all right, Mr. Wolf.
What? Why, Annie. Only trying to help Ethelbert's investment.
Miss Ballou, I have a gentleman outside.
Ah, the diplomat.
I'd better put my head inside and ask if it's safe. You know how temperamental he is. Miss Ballou, I was wondering if... Mr. Casey, something's happened. Come here.
What is it?
She's on the floor. She's fainted. I better call a doctor.
Yeah, you better.
I'll be right back.
No wonder she fainted. She must have had an awful fight with someone. This dressing room's a mess.
I wonder what happened.
This is what happened. Step over here. Look.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, the show started, Casey. What are we going to do?
Miss Ballou can't dance with a knife in her back, Ethelbert. Angel Face has too many angels, including a dead one.
Our story will continue in just a moment. Here's how to enjoy beer at its best.
I know. Pour it right out of a clean glass bottle.
Yes, that's important, because glass and glass only can bring you beer and ale that taste as beer and ale should taste.
Clean, clear, sparkling, unaffected by foreign flavor. Beer that's brewery bright.
And now you have a new kind of bottle, the Anchor Glass one-way, no deposit, no return bottle.
One way means it's sanitary. You are the first and last to use it.
When it's empty, drop it in any waste receptacle as you would any other food container.
No deposit means no more deposits to pay.
No return means no more empty bottles to save and clutter up the back porch or cellar.
Or lugging back to the store for refunds.
And this compact bottle saves space in the refrigerator.
It's easy to open, safe to drink from.
It protects that true brewery flavor.
As only clean glass can protect it.
Yes, the revolutionary new Anchor Glass one-way, no deposit bottle is sweeping America. For perfect flavor, demand beer in glass bottles. For extra convenience, demand your favorite brand in the new Anchor Glass one-way, no deposit bottle. A product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Let me through here. Which dressing room door is which? Say, who's in charge backstage? Get these people out of here. Let me through.
Who was he, anyway?
Miss Williams. You got here mighty quick.
This way, Captain Logan. So did you.
I suppose Casey's somewhere.
He most certainly is. In here.
Hello, Logan.
What are you doing here?
I'm a news photographer, remember?
I just happened to be driving by and got the radio report myself. How'd you find out about it? A knifing, huh?
Yeah. We were attending the preview of this show. I asked Blake, the stage manager, if I could take some pictures of Mr. Ballou. We knocked, and nobody answered, so we came in. Found this.
Well, that tech squad will be here in a few minutes. In the meantime, I hope you haven't disturbed anything in here.
Wait a minute, Logan. Act your age. You know me. Just a few pictures, that's all. Maybe I can save you some time,
The
though.
looks of this place, it must have been quite a fight. Get that stage manager in here.
I'll get him, Captain.
A fight between two gals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look here.
Strands of yellow hair caught in her nails.
A blonde.
Stage manager Blake.
We'll wind this business up quick. Blake, round up all the blondes in this company.
I think there's only 4 of the girls.
The one I want has scratches on her face or arm. She probably tried to hide them with makeup.
I'll catch the girls now before they leave the theater.
There's Miss Carling, who might have something to hide behind a Cocker Spaniel head.
We'll get to her. Now, about this knife. Oh, hello, Chapman. So, you're here,
Why shouldn't I be? I have an interest in this show. They tell me there's been an accident. That's too bad.
You ever see that weapon before?
I didn't come here to answer no questions. But I'm one of those fellows like to help the cops. I had a falling out with Andrea tonight. I got nothing to hide. That's my knife. I recognize it. Had it in my desk at the Top Hat Club. Disappeared 3 weeks ago.
Your lawyer tell you to say all this?
If you figure you can hang anything on me and make it stick, just say the word.
Chapman, I'll talk to you later. Right now, all I want is a blonde.
Yeah. That's all most men want, Logan.
Why do you keep on asking me over and over again? I told you I was in a room and we had a scrap. I would have killed her, but I didn't. I never saw that knife before. I never saw it. I don't know how it happened.
Will you step outside a minute, Logan? I want to ask you something.
Hurry it up.
Listen. Miss Ballou was killed, Logan, by a single, clean knife thrust in the back. Well? Now, is it logical, after a wild fight between two women, that the knife was only used once? No other cuts or slashes? I'll bet you little Eva can't even peel potatoes without cutting a finger off.
Can't I go home now? Can't you just let me go home and rest?
We were just talking about you, Miss Carling, and
Hold on, Casey.
Casey, look out! Look out, Casey. It was a heavy sandbag. I saw it start to slip from my
Yes,
bed.
well, we're okay anyway.
It must weigh 100 pounds.
Yeah, they use it for counterweight for the curtains. Yeah. Look at this cord.
Yeah.
It didn't wear out or come loose. It was cut with a knife.
Flanagan, get some more light on back here. Come on, Casey. We'll take a look up there in the catwalks, all right?
I'll go up to the flies this way, Logan. Anybody's up there, we'll soon find out.
Careful, Casey.
I'm so up here, Casey.
Not anymore. But I got out through this door to the roof, so got away over the fire escape. Down. Hello. Listen, will you give me a break now?
That depends.
Eva Carling couldn't have cut that sandbag loose. She was standing right beside us.
Yeah, that's right.
She's pretty worked up. I'll tell Annie to take her home. You can pick her up later if you want her.
Okay. Let's go over and have a talk with Carlo Chapman.
Office, huh? Soft light, softer rug, all the glossy pin-ups along the walls.
The Top Hat Club seems to feature dance teams. If pictures mean anything.
Yeah. Here's a shot of the late, unlamented Miss Andrea Ballou, kicking up her pretty ankles with a dancing partner. Boy, looks kind of familiar. Oh, good evening, Mr. Chapman. Admiring your picture gallery.
Sure. Look around, plenty. Sorry I wasn't here. Been doing a little exercise.
Yeah? Up and down fire escape?
What?
Oh, never mind. Say, who's the lad with Miss Ballou in this shot?
He used to be part of the team. Blue and Ballou. I gave him their start here at the club.
Blue and Ballou. Sounds funny.
He got hurt. Couldn't dance anymore. So Miss Ballou had to do a single act. Now, let's cut out the small talk. I don't know nothing more about the knife, Captain Logan.
Any idea who might have taken it?
No.
What did you and Ballou quarrel about in her dressing room tonight?
I told her if she didn't behave, she was through.
Who could take her place if she was?
Understudy. Eva Carling.
Did you promise Eva anything in case Andrea Ballou was out of the picture?
Well, if you want to put it that way. Yeah. If we ever open the show again, Miss Carling will be a sensation. The star of the year.
I see. Come on, Chapman. I'm arresting you on suspicion of murder. And after I've taken you to headquarters, I'm also picking up Eva Carling. Casey, there's no use sulking.
I'm not sulking.
I'm going to pick up Eva at her apartment and book her on a charge of homicide, at least. Till we get more evidence. Yeah, she and Miss Williams should have had plenty of time to get there by now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, look, Casey, Miss Carling was Chapman's new girlfriend. She knew Ballou was in her way. She had a motive, all right.
So she took Chapman's own knife, stuck it in Ballou's back. All of which is point the finger at Chapman. I'll go this far with you, Logan. Little Eva may have a hunch who did put Ballou out of the way. Right now, I'm trying to dig something out of my memory, though. Ever since we were in Chapman's office, I've been scratching my head. So where are we?
Eva Carling. Is that the building across the street, Flanagan?
Yes, sir. The address Miss Carling gave us. 317, apartment 4B. Looks like a 4-story walk-up.
Oh, come on, Casey. Let's start climbing.
Don't let them come in. Now, you just relax. Nobody's going to hurt you. Whoever it is, I don't want to see anybody. I'm afraid. I didn't do it. I told you everything. I told you the truth. You believe me, don't you? Yes. Yes, of course I do, Eva. Maybe it's Carlo Chapman ringing the bell. No. He wouldn't ring it for you. Why not? He doesn't have to. Oh. Whoever it is, let them ring. Don't answer it.
funny. Miss Williams and Miss Carling haven't got here yet, and all that climbing we did for nothing.
Well, instead of coming here to Carling's apartment, they probably went to Annie's place. She's got an extra room.
Ah, that's where they are. Climb in.
Hey, Logan, I think I've got it.
Got what?
Look, remember that photograph in Chapman's office, the dance team of Blue and Baloo?
Well, let's go, Flanagan.
Well, look, he said the kid got hurt some years ago. Wasn't able to dance anymore. Well, I've got a memory for faces. You know, you get that way in my business.
Now, hold it a minute, Flanagan. Casey, that fellow going into the apartment house, isn't that?
Yeah, that's Blake, the stage manager. Yeah. That's Blake, all right. Uh-huh. See how he drags one foot? I didn't notice it before.
Yeah, he does walk with a kind of limp. I wonder why he's calling on Carling's apartment.
Logan, I'm beginning to get one of those hunches.
You and your hunches. What is it this time?
So strong that if I weren't sure that Annie and Miss Carling aren't up there, I'd follow Blake up those stairs again.
Why?
Because, according to my hunch, Blake is the murderer of Miss Baloo. And Miss Carling's life and Annie's, too, won't be worth a nickel if Blake finds him.
Well, let's have it, Casey. At least we know the gals aren't up there. All Blake can do is walk up there and ring the bell as we did. If there is any reason to think he had anything to do with the murder, we can pick him up when he comes down.
Yeah, that's right. The girls are safe enough. Well, Logan, look, here's the basis of my hunch. As I was telling you before about that photograph.
There they are again. Don't let them know we're here. Believe me, Colin. I think we should ask them. No one wants to hurt you. If it is the police, they'll only want to ask you some more questions. All right, William. Let them in. It couldn't be worse than sitting here with you. Good. I'll ask who it is. Who is it?
It's Blake.
Oh, you see, it's only Mr. Blake, the stage manager. Oh, I'm coming, Mr. Blake. Come in.
Get over there and sit down with Eva.
But I don't see what...
You see this, don't you? Get over there. It's a lot more effective than a knife.
What do you want, Jack?
You saw me go into Baloo's dressing room just after you came out, after you scrapped with her. But you'll never tell the police.
No, I didn't see you going, Jack. I tell you, I didn't.
I thought I'd pick you off with that sandbag, but now I'll have to try again.
You're a fool to think you can use that gun and get away with it.
Listen, I waited a long time to take care of Andrea. 7 years. She knew Chapman crippled me, so I couldn't dance again. Well, she'll never dance again either. When I leave here, I'll take care of Chapman. I couldn't make the cops think he used his knife on Andrea. Too bad you had to be up here tonight, Miss Williams. But that's how it is.
There you are. My hunch. Blake, or Blue, if you prefer, had his dancing career cut short by an accident. Now, suppose he nursed a grudge against Baloo, seeing her go on and up in show business, when all he could ever hope for was a job as a stage manager now and then.
You know, Casey, at this hour in the morning, I admire your energy to think up such an idea.
Well, like I said, Logan, it's just a hunch. I'm not completely sold on it myself. I wonder what's keeping Blake so long up there. He's wearing that door buzzer around.
Casey, that's a theatrical apartment house. Lots of theater people live there. He probably lives there, and he's in bed asleep by now while we sit out here in the cold. I'll pick him up tomorrow for more questioning, but right now I'll settle for Eva Carling, and then I'm going home. Flanagan, you know where Miss Williams lives. Step on the starter. We're going there.
But didn't Chapman recognize you backstage?
He never notices anything unless it wears skirts.
But as a stage manager of Angel Face, surely Miss Baloo would remember you as her former partner.
Sure, she knew I had the job. She didn't mind. She thought it was nice to have me under her thumb, like throwing bones to a dog.
But, what about...
You stall long enough. We're going to have some radio music. I'll turn it up real loud for a few minutes.
No, I'll never tell about you, Jack. I'll go away. Miss Williams promised him I'll do anything but make him listen to me. No, don't, please, Jack. Don't shoot. I'll do anything. All my life, Jack, I'll do anything. Only don't. No!
I got him, Logan. Grab his gun, Flanagan, and get the cuffs on him.
I'll take care of him, Captain.
And let's turn off that radio.
Captain Logan.
You all right, Annie? What about the girl? She hurt?
No, I mean, yes, I'm all right. I guess Eva fainted now. Casey, you and the Marines. He almost made 2 more angels out of it. Casey, don't ever tell a newspaper I'm bawling.
I won't, Annie. Good thing I remembered one thing, Annie.
Yeah. You remembered just in time.
Remembered? Remembered what?
Oh, never mind now, honey. Come on. I think we can just make the Blue Note before it closes.
We'll join the crowd of the Blue Note in just a moment. It's not far from Thanksgiving, and all reports are that turkeys are plentiful and big. And that means in most homes there'll be lots of delicious turkey leftovers. And many a smart housekeeper is going to make delicious, tasty dishes from leftover turkey because she's going to oven bake them in a big Fire King casserole. And how the family will enjoy those big, steaming casserole dishes, particularly when they come to the table warm, fragrant, and appetizing in beautiful pale blue Fire King oven glass. Now, Fire King oven glass is amazingly easy to clean, amazingly sturdy. Now, you'll find Fire King oven glass in 5 and 10 cent stores, department stores, and all other stores selling household glass. Fire King prices are amazingly low, and every piece is guaranteed for 2 years against oven breakage. Insist on genuine Fire King oven glass by name. Fire King oven glass is a product of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
So Blake was deliberately crippled by Chapman, huh, Casey?
That's right, Ethelbert, according to what he told us. He knew when three mugs held him up, knocked him out, and didn't take his money. But it was a frame-up. He'd been injured on purpose.
Oh, that's horrible. That was 7 years ago, you say?
And there's no way to pin it on Chapman?
Well, if Miss Ballou was alive, she might, but...
But why did Chapman bother with Blake 7 years ago?
Well, Blake and Ballou had an ironclad contract that neither could break.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Ballou met Carlo and saw her big chance to latch onto the big time. But Blake was a drag, so Chapman helped out by fixing Blake so that he was through as a dancer. Because that nullified the contract.
There's a 5-letter word for a louse like that. Or is it 6?
Well, he'll get his some night in a dark alley.
To think Chapman can walk around unfettered while poor Blake winds up in the chair.
Yeah, for murder. He almost got me with a sandbag. He was just going to add Eva Carling and our own Annie to his list. He was sure anxious to cover his tracks.
When you broke in, and it was heavenly timing.
Yeah, Casey, how come?
Well, Logan and I started to drive to Annie's place, but at the last moment I remembered that her apartment had just been painted. She wouldn't go there if she could help it, so I knew you must be at Eva's place, Annie. We did a quick turnaround and got there in time to hear the radio tuned up.
Well, boys, don't think it hasn't been fun. But I'm going home to my new smelling apartment and collapse.
Wait a minute, Annie. I've got a bright idea.
No, I know. You feel like stepping out tonight.
No, tomorrow night, Annie. We'll have dinner and a show. What's a good show?
How about Hello Broadway? There's a preview performance.
Wait a minute, Ethel. Wait. Don't tell me. Not again.
Well, as my sister Edna says, quote, most of us keep one eye on the temptations we pray not to be led into. Unquote.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King oven glass, Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Tonight's story was written by Albert Barker. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hi, Ethelbert.
Hello, Casey.
What did you think of the royal wedding?
Oh, Casey, it's a shame. I couldn't get off to go to it.
You? You mean you got an invitation?
Sure, I've known him for years.
You know Mountbatten?
Mountbatten?
Yeah.
No, I mean Henry Royal. You know him, the cop on the beat here.
Oh, I thought for a minute you were famous.
Oh, Casey, but Ethelbert is. You know, he works for Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, Earned Reward. 8:00 in the evening, the Blue Note Cafe. Casey, camera slung over his shoulder and a heavy equipment case resting beside his high stool, is sitting at the bar when a little man carrying a similar press camera and photographer's case enters from the street.
Hello, Casey.
Shorty, glad to see you, fella.
I thought I'd find you here.
You wanted to see me?
Didn't you think I'd be looking you up? This was payday. You lent me $100 last week, Casey, so here's 10 of it back.
Put that dough back in your pocket. Your kid's still in the hospital.
But she's okay now. Came through the operation swell.
That's good.
And the missus made me promise I'd give you this today. That century bullet's out of a mighty tough spot.
Now, you tell the missus to forget it for a while. If one camera guy can't help another without women butting in, it's too bad.
Okay, Casey.
Going on a job, Joey?
Oh, just a political meeting in the old Caledonian Hall on Farley Street.
Oh, one of those backstage fillers, huh?
Yeah.
Well, after the beat you got on that Bernstein killing, you can afford to sit back for a while.
I got the break of a lifetime on that Bernstein job, didn't I?
Yeah, I'll say you did. You were only a few feet away when Joe Mosley shot him.
Oh, not that close. Mosley had made his getaway before I could get a real hot shot of him. But I got swell close up to Bernstein lying in the gutter before the cops showed up.
Yeah, you know, it's too bad hot pictures like that were wasted.
What do you mean, wasted?
They should have been running a good paper like the Express instead of that lousy sheet you work for.
Oh, nuts to you. Here you are, Casey.
Thanks, Ethelbert. You know Shorty Irwin of the Globe, don't you?
Sure. Hiya, Shorty. Oh, fine, Ethelbert. Casey tells me you're the guy who beat him and all the other press photographers on the Bernstein murder. Yeah, that was my lucky day. Say, I see your award's been offered for information leading to the capture of Joe Mosley, who shot Bernstein.
Yeah, $5,000.
That's a nice piece of change. I could sure use it.
You and me both.
I hear the cops been looking for him almost 2 weeks now without finding hide or hair of him. He's a smart cookie.
Just a dumb, kill-crazy gorilla who's had a lot of luck and a clever, crooked lawyer for a brother. And now, when the cops catch him, even a mouthpiece like his brother Frank can't save him from the chair after that Bernstein job.
Frank usually has some shyster trick up his sleeve, Casey. He'll go all out to save Joe like he did for his other brother, Tony. Got him out after 2 years. Hey, there's 3 Mosley brothers? Oh, sure. Tony was a camera guy like Casey and me, Ethelbert, on the old Inquirer, until he got caught doing a blackmail business on the side. He got 2 years for that. Should have had 10.
Yeah, he's back in this town now, running a little photo studio on the south side. I guess he's been keeping his nose clean, though.
I wouldn't lay any bets on that. And say, I gotta get down to East Farley Street.
Yeah, I gotta be moving toward the office.
I'll see you guys later. And, I'm much obliged, Casey.
Forget it, Shorty. Do my best to the missus and the kid, huh?
I will. So long.
So long, fella. So long.
So long, Shorty. Nice little guy, Shorty Irwin.
Yeah, he's tough.
I hear his kid's been sick.
She's okay now, he says.
Oh, that's good. One of the fellas on his paper tells me he's had an awful lot of expense with her. Said Shorty even had to hock his life insurance to raise dough. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
He was thanking you for something when he went out. Casey...
He was thanking me for a tip on a horse I gave him.
Oh. The tips you give out on horses don't call for gratitude. They call for revenge.
Not you. Well, I gotta be going. Put this sandwich on the cup, Ethelbert, will you? After Annie and I stepped out last week, angel face, I'm a little short.
Okay.
Well, so long.
Well, here comes Miss Williams.
Oh, hello, Annie.
Hi there. Hey, Casey, there's a big fire downtown, and City Guest told me to pick you up and get down there right away.
What kind of fire? Where downtown?
An old frame tenement house. People are trapped in it.
That's front page stuff.
Sure, come on. It's on East Farley Street.
Yeah, East Farley Street?
Yeah.
Holy smoke. The shorty's already on his way there. That little mug will see that fire and get another beat on him.
Well, he's a pal of yours, Casey. What do you...
I got no pals when it comes to getting pictures. Come on, Ann. We gotta make this fire before that shrimp gets all the gravy. Annie, we missed the best part of it. Another 5 minutes, they'll have the fire out.
Boy, it must have gone up like a haystack.
Shorty probably got it while the blaze was at its best. He had a head start, too. Well, take another shot. It won't be any good.
Well, hurry up. I want to find the fire captain and get some dope on the people who are trapped in there.
Okay. All right, come on. Captain Glennon ought to be in charge. Yeah, there he is. Hey, Cap!
Hello, Casey. You just got here?
Yeah. Hey, was Shorty Irwin here while it was going good?
Yeah. I saw Shorty working his camera all over the place.
Yeah, Annie, I knew it.
Hey, Captain Glennon, the report we got was that several people were trapped in this tenement.
We think one man was caught in there, but no one else.
Oh, one man?
A neighborhood bum who... Hey, Stanley, straighten out that number 2 hose line. Okay, Cap.
You say the man was a neighborhood bum, Captain?
Well, that's our guess, Miss Williams. This tenement had been condemned and was empty. An unidentified man was seen going into it tonight. Probably some poor devil who had no other place to sleep. Screams were heard from the rear, but we couldn't make any attempt at rescue.
That's your story to phone in, Annie. Can't get any more until the ashes are cool enough for men to go in there.
That won't be long. The way we've watered this place, you better stick around.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, well, thanks for everything, Cap. See you later.
So long, Casey.
Hey, where are you going, Casey?
The roof, one of those tenements back there. And May got a high-angle shot. Maybe Shorty didn't. Look at that. Come on.
Okay.
There's an alley here that we can cut through and save time.
It's terribly dark.
Yeah, these buildings here cut off what's left of the fire glow.
I can't see a thing right here.
Neither can I. I've got a guiding sense in the dark. Anyhow, give me a hand. I'll help you. Oh!
Hey, what's the matter?
Stumbled into something. Almost broke my big toe. Look at it. This box.
Did that kick you gave it make your toe feel better?
I don't see anything funny.
I don't see anything at all.
All right, come on. We haven't got all night.
Oh!
What's the animal?
Oh, I just stumbled into something. Hey, Casey, I almost fell, and I cut something warm and soft.
What?
Yeah, light a match. Light a match and see what it is.
Okay. Good Lord.
Hey, it's a man. Man lying on his face in blood.
Here, hold the match while I get a look.
Okay.
The guy's still warm. Send him over and see.
Casey!
It's Shorty Irwin.
Yeah, Shorty Irwin.
Oh, wait a minute. He's not breathing.
Oh, the match has gone out.
Never mind the matches. Run back to the end of this alley and find a cop. Have somebody phone Logan at homicide and hurry.
Yeah, okay, Casey.
And get a doctor, Annie, quick. Maybe Shorty isn't dead.
Yeah, I will.
The guy's got a wife and a sick kid and he was broke. Who could have shot him? Who and why? What? Who's there?
This is me, Jay. Only me.
All I know, Logan, is that I heard somebody moving just behind me, and then something hit me.
According to the doc, it must have been the butt of a gun.
Casey, we thought at first that you were dead, too.
What? Shorty is dead, huh?
Yeah. 38 slug got him in the back. Went through his heart.
Who could have killed a harmless little guy like him?
The same one who slugged you, Casey, from the looks of things.
Yeah, but who was the killer, Logan? Haven't you found any leads?
Not yet.
How long have I been out?
Almost half an hour, Casey. Gee, I'm so worried.
It's all right, kid. I'm okay. Born with a thick skull.
Hey, you knew Irwin pretty well, Casey. Can't you think of some reason why...
Wasn't any reason, Logan?
Now, don't question Casey now, Captain Logan. The doctor says he's got to go to the hospital.
Hospital? Oh, no. Forget it, Annie. Logan, you remember Shorty got a beat on the Bernstein murder.
Maybe Mosley thought Shorty got a picture that would help strap him in the chair.
Now, forget about Mosley, pal. He's dead.
Who's dead?
Joe Mosley.
He was the man who died in the tenement fire.
Joe Mosley?
Yeah. Fireman dragged out a charred body shortly after you were socked. It was lying just inside what was under the back door. Here's what they found on it.
That watch has Joe Mosley's name engraved on the case, Casey. And the diamond ring has his initials inside.
And there was some fancy bridge work in the mouth of the remains that I'm pretty sure was Mosley's. It replaced some teeth that I personally had the pleasure of knocking out when he resisted arrest one time.
And he was hiding out in that abandoned tenement.
Yeah. And now the state won't have to burn him.
Well, then who killed Shorty?
We'll find out.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get back to the office. Joe Mosley's death and poor Shorty's murder make feature stuff. These bum pictures I got of this fire.
No, you're waiting here for the ambulance.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, now, Casey,
Logan, give me my
please.
camera and my plate case.
Hey, listen, pal, you ought to take
Where are nuts? Where's my stuff?
Well, here's your tools.
Casey, don't...
Why should I go to the hospital? Lie there and think about that nice little guy, Shorty Irwin. Some louse shot in the back.
You're not fit to be working, Casey.
That's
Even
all right.
City Death wants you to go home unless somebody
Will you
else...
lay off, please? Look, wait a minute, will you? I'm trying to develop these films that I shot. You got no business in the darkroom anyway, Annie.
Okay, if you want me to go on.
I'm sorry, kid. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that.
Okay, I know. I understand.
Let's see what I got here. Hey, I don't remember shooting anything from this angle. Let me see another. Annie. I didn't take these pictures.
What?
Well, there's a shot here of... Get on the phone outside and call Logan right away.
Sure, but
will you?
what's it all about, Casey? What have you found?
I won't be sure until I made a print of this negative. But I think I've got a picture of Shorty Irwin's murderer.
Our story will continue in just a moment. Do you know how to make breakfast toast more appealing, more satisfying? Well, here's a gratifyingly simple trick. Set out a lot of jams, jellies, and marmalades. Now, not just one, but a wide selection. And see how your family responds to that symphony of taste and luscious color. And see how they smile and reach for another golden slice of toast and another. And it's so good for them, too. Now, that's the way to start the morning right. That's the simple way to supply quick energy for an active day. Yes, you can add a magic touch to any ordinary meal when you serve a gleaming assortment of fine preserves, jellies, and jams for breakfast. Now, quite naturally, the packers of these fine foods, the preserve industry of today, bring you their colorful products packed in glass. And they know, as you do, that glass completely safeguards wholesomeness and flavor. And crystal clear glass provides a rainbow of color on your table. Anchor glass containers and modern anchor hocking sealing methods bring you flavor at its peak. Anchor glass containers and Anchor caps are both products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
How'd you get this picture, Casey?
Logan, I didn't get it. Shorty got it. Look, what did you do with the other equipment case, Logan? The one that you thought was Shorty's. I must have been so groggy.
We opened it and found it empty. All the film's gone.
That explains everything. Look, what do you see in this picture I brought you?
Two guys walking up an alley with their backs turned.
But one of them is looking around over his shoulder. You can see his face.
And it's the face of Joe Mosley.
Yeah, you're right. In spite of the watch, the ring, the bridge work, Joe Mosley wasn't burned up in that fire because Irwin was killed after the fire was almost out.
That's right, Captain. It wasn't Mosley's body that was found.
No, it was just some poor devil of Joe Mosley's size. With his stuff planted on it, teeth and all.
Yeah, sure. And the old gag was pulled so good I almost fell for it.
Almost? Well, you did fall for it, pal. Joe Mosley's brother, Frank, the lawyer's a smart guy. Frank knew that Joe couldn't beat the Bernstein rap once you cops got your miss on it. It was only possible out. To make you think that he was dead, so he framed that fire.
You think the other guy in this picture is Joe's brother, Frank?
Sure. His face doesn't show, but he's Frank's build.
If we can prove Frank was with Joe, we can nail him, too, as accessory. I've always wanted to get that tricky shite.
Well, look, here's what I think happened.
Yeah?
Joe Mosley
went into that tenement tonight and planted his watch and ring and an extra set of bridge work on another guy who'd been smuggled in there unseen, probably doped or already dead. And then started the fire, yelled a couple of times after the fire got going, and sneaked out the back way into that alley, where his brother Frank was waiting to see that everything went according to plan.
Yeah, but where does Shorty Irwin fit in?
Shorty went into the alley for the same reason I did, Logan. Get a picture of the fire from a new angle. He saw Joe and Frank up the alley where the fire glow made it bright. He probably thought of that $5,000 reward. He was a camera toter, so his first instinct was to get a picture first. He called the cops afterwards, where Shorty snapped his shutter and started to run. Putting the films he just exposed into his case as he ran.
And then Joe shot him in the back. And he was about to take the films from Shorty's case when we came into the alley.
That's it, Anne. And the box that I stumbled over was really Shorty's equipment case. After Joe slugged me, he took the films from my case thinking that they were Shorty.
Yeah, that must be the way it happened. So now we still have to find Joe and Frank Mosley.
Yeah. I think I know how to get both of them. Where?
What do you mean?
All you got to do, Logan. Wait a minute. Before I pass out any more information, Logan, I want an understanding about that $5,000 reward.
Reward?
Yeah, I want it. I want it all. No divvies with you or any other cop.
You rat.
Huh?
A pal of yours has been bumped off, and you'll help nail the guys who killed him only if you can collect $5,000.
Logan.
You heard him, Miss Williams.
You want to speak?
In my racket, we know what guys will do for money.
Okay. I said I want the $5,000 and no divvies.
I don't make any deals.
No, out for the pot yourself now that I've shown a lot of cards.
No, but I'd have a legitimate right to be out for it. I wasn't a personal friend of Shorty Irwin.
You lout. Okay. I'm playing this my own way. And I'll see you later, Logan.
Hey, Casey, wait for me.
I'm not waiting for anybody. And the next time I see you, Logan, I think I'll knock your teeth out.
Casey, where are you going?
Get in my car, Annie. Go home, please.
I'm going with you. You know, Logan didn't mean what he said.
Didn't he?
No, he couldn't have. He spoke of it so suddenly, Casey, out of a clear sky. It took him by surprise. And why are you so interested in that reward?
You figure it out for yourself, honey. There's a car. Better take a cab home.
I'm not going home. I'm going with you.
Okay, if you want to stick your neck out, get in.
I don't think I'll enjoy your company, but I will go along with you to satisfy my curiosity.
Your neck and your curiosity.
Where are we going?
To the south side and through red light.
What's on the south side?
A photographer's studio. Run by a guy who calls himself Jackson.
Now that you've thought out enough to tell me that one of Joe Mosley's brothers runs Jackson's studio, I would like
Annie,
to know...
wait a minute. I'm sorry I acted like a heel to you, but with Logan, he made me so sore.
Well, say for it, Logan, if you want to, but will you explain why you're going to call on this Jackson, who is really Tony Mosley?
Well, Frank Mosley will want to have the films that Joe thinks that he took from Shorty's kit developed to make sure that they have the incriminating picture. And Tony... Mosley, brother number 3, is the logical guy to do it.
But they took the films in the alley, it's over an hour ago.
I know. I don't think Frank would take a chance just driving to his place in a beeline. Laying even money that we get to Tony's about the same time they do.
Well, if you're right, you can't capture a killer like Joe Mosley single-handed.
Give you odds on that.
Casey, you don't even carry a gun.
Got one tonight. Borrowed it before we left headquarters.
Oh.
Well, Tony's joint's just up this block across the street. Parked right here.
Studio's upstairs, place, huh?
Yeah, on the second floor.
Hardly anyone on the street. No policemen. But we can't take a chance on going up there.
We're not going up there, Annie. You're staying right in the car.
Oh, no.
Yes, honey, look, I want you to be out here watching. If you don't see me come outside in 5 minutes, you make for that drugstore in the corner and phone the cops.
Well, yeah, okay.
All right, but if you have to call them in, make it very clear that I'm not splitting that reward. Have you developed every film, Tony?
Every exposed one you brought me, Frank.
Sure, there's nothing but pictures of the fire here.
I see. Maybe I rubbed out that little guy for nothing, Frank.
Yeah, but we saw him with his camera pointed at us in that alley. Yeah, you're so brainless, you rubbed out Bernstein before witnesses. But even a lawyer like me can't make a jury believe you didn't do it. Now, I think you've done something dumber than usual. Only you can't figure out what.
Stop calling me dumb, Frank.
Shut up, you screwball. Now, let me think. Now, then that other guy, the one you slugged in the alley. You don't know who he was?
How could I know? It was pitch dark.
With a girl, you told me. Didn't you hear them say something that...
Hey, she called the guy, Casey, I think it was. He seemed to know the guy I just shot.
She called the guy Casey, Joe?
Yeah.
I know. Casey, Morning Express. Sure, he's the answer. He'd carry an equipment case. Those were his films you got, Joe.
Then the film you wanted, Frank?
The cops probably have it by now.
Hey, we gotta make tracks and fast.
Then get out of my studio. Here, quick. I don't want to be mixed up in your murder.
Yeah, we're going, Tony, we're going. But burn those films you developed and forget you saw us tonight.
No one will learn anything out of me, Frank. But you and Joe, get out.
Get out. Frank. Wait a minute.
That auto horn.
Broke the signal.
What do you mean?
We left a lookout in the car, Tony. That horn meant somebody's coming up here.
Cops to trail you to my place?
No. That signal don't mean cops. So I'll open the door quick. You take care of whoever's coming up the stairs, but no shooting unless you have to.
Yeah, okay. I'll open the door. Pick up your message, guy. Quick. Drop that gat in your hand. I'll let you have it.
Okay.
Never had any luck packing a rod.
Shut up and step inside and keep quiet.
Frank, it's Casey.
I know.
Oh, you Frank? Hello, Tony. Mug with a gun, of course, is brother Joe.
What were you doing on them stairs?
Coming up to have Tony take my picture.
A wise guy,
Shut up, Joe. Where's the film, Casey?
What film?
Come clean. I figured out what happened.
Yeah, I guess you have. The cops have the film, Frank, and the cops have this joint surrounded right now.
Frank.
Now take it easy, Tony. That bluff won't work, Casey. We have a lookout on the street who would have let us know if any cops were around. Just as he tipped us to expect you.
Oh, yeah. Should have thought of that. That sock on the head Joe gave me didn't do my brains much good.
You're going to get more than a sock on the head this time, wise guy.
That's right. I can guess why you had a hunch to come here, Casey. You can't figure out why you were sap enough to come alone. You know, you put yourself in quite a spot now.
You better not pull any rough stuff, Frank. I wasn't such a sap as you
Hold
think.
it.
Someone's coming up the stairs, Frank.
I hear him. This guy makes a whisper, Joe. You know what to do.
Yeah. The Schultz didn't give us any signal. What?
Yeah, Schultz is not. Go on, let him in.
Oh, you look at her.
Yeah. Let me in, guys.
Okay, Schultz.
Hey, who's the dame with you?
Casey.
Annie.
Get in there, lady.
All right.
I saw the big guy leave the skirt in the car when he started up here, boss. So after I gave you the signal, I kept an eye on her. She started toward the drugstore with the telephone a minute ago.
You put a gun in my back, Casey.
That's all right.
Well, you've done a nice job, Schultz. Well, Casey, if it depended on this girl to bring the cops, she won't now.
I'm sorry, Casey.
You two have acted so dumb in coming here alone. I got an idea you've been even dumber. If you didn't turn that film over to the cops.
You're wrong, Frank. Captain Logan of Homicide has got that
Nuts.
film.
If he knew about it, he'd have come here with you. Now, listen. You listen to me. Where is that film?
Casey just told
You're going
me
to tell us the truth. Tell us where it is. All right. Joe, you know how to make them talk.
Yeah, I know.
And start with the dame.
Right now.
Let her go. Keep the guy covered, Schultz. Hey, he was too slow. Right?
breaking my arm, boss. Take it like that.
Go. I'll fix him, Frank.
Casey, look out!
Got it. Now, Mr. Casey won't bother us for a long time.
Mug socked me before I KO'd him with my gat. No one sock Joe Mosley gets away with it. I'm going to beat his head in.
No, don't hit him again,
Just
don't.
watch me. Hey, what's this? Joe's been shot. Pick him up, you guys.
Shut up!
Hey, the rest of them at the door.
When your lookout came up here with Miss Williams, Mosley, it gave me a chance to post my
You
man.
killed Joe. You killed my brother.
I've saved the state expense. And if you make a move that gives me any excuse, I'll save it another bill for juice. Get the cuffs on him, boys.
Logan, how did you know we came here?
There's no way of keeping you quiet tonight, is there, Keith? You've recovered from another knockout.
My head.
Casey.
That's all right, Eddie. I'm okay. Logan, I ask you, how did you know?
I simply followed your car, you sap. You didn't think I'd let a bloodsucker like you collect the $5,000 reward.
I see.
It's all yours, Logan. You won it. You earned it. Only
you wanted it. For Shorty Irwin's widow. Well, she's going to get it.
Logan.
I knew that was your idea from the first. And I got sore at you for trying to make a deal with me instead of coming clean. Shorty's picture earned that reward for his family, no matter what anyone did afterward. And the next time you infer that I'd cheat a widow and a kid, I'll knock your teeth out.
Okay, Logan. I got it coming. Only just the teeth, please. Please don't anybody sock me on the head again tonight.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. It's just a week to Thanksgiving and a real old-fashioned turkey dinner with all the fixings. And to make that fine meal even finer, serve plenty of delicious oven-baked side dishes. You know, there are so many tasty dishes that'll make your dinner look better and taste better when they're baked in Fire King oven glass. Sweet potatoes, baked onions, baked tomatoes, cornbread, pies, and puddings. Why, your family will enjoy those steaming casserole dishes when they come to the table warm, fragrant, and appetizing in beautiful pale blue Fire King oven glass. And it cuts down the work after the meal because Fire King oven glass is so amazingly easy to clean. Now, you'll find Fire King oven glass at 5 and 10 cent stores, department stores, and all other stores selling household glass. Fire King prices are amazingly low, and every piece is guaranteed for 2 years against oven breakage. Fire King oven glass is a product of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
Hello, Miss Williams. Captain Logan.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Say, where's Casey?
He's home in bed, Ethelbert, on Dr. Logan's orders.
You sent the guy to bed, Captain?
That's right, Ethelbert. And the two men I assigned to take him home have orders to make sure that's where he goes. What's so funny?
Hey, look who's coming in the door with those bandages on his head.
What? Casey!
Hiya, folks. Meet my pal.
Sergeant, I thought I told you to see that Casey...
Wait a minute, Logan. That's not their fault.
What do you mean?
They brought me here. This is where I told them I live.
Why... All right. Set him up, Ethelbert. A guy who earns a $5,000 reward can afford to pay for it. These are on you, Casey.
$5,000?
Ethelbert, can you lend me $5 more? I'm still flat.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King oven glass, Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Deep. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Do you think they'll ever put my statue in the Hall of Fame?
What are you famous for, Ethelbert?
For 27 straight years, I always got the same part of the turkey. That's some kind of a record, ain't it?
Well, because you consistently get it in the neck, that might make you notorious, but not really famous.
No, Ethelbert. You know, you have to do something really big, something important to deserve a famous name.
Like what?
Well, like Anchor Hawking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hawking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, After Turkey, the Bill. 7 o'clock in the evening, a medium-priced uptown restaurant known as Petrakis' Olympian. At a table for two, a flashily dressed young man pushes aside his empty plate and says to the pretty girl who sits opposite,
Hey, that turkey wasn't half bad.
You didn't leave much of it.
Neither did you. Shall I order dessert now?
Uh-huh.
Hey, waiter. Gus,
Okay, kid. What do you want now, Joe?
we're ready for the plum pudding now.
Two plums pudding.
That's what you want, too, isn't it, Lottie?
Yes, and coffee.
Same here.
Okay, kid.
I don't know why you won't let me do anything for you in a classy way, Lottie. I asked you out for a Thanksgiving spread, and you made me bring you to a cheap place like this.
Joe, you can't afford to throw your money away.
Well, you know what I can afford. I may not have as good a job as my cousin Bird yet, but that doesn't
What's
mean
Bird got to do with it?
He's got plenty to do with it. If you didn't have to work today, you'd be out with him now instead of me, I know.
Bird isn't working tonight, Joe. He came home before we left there. I could have had dinner with him if I'd wanted.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be like that, please.
Why shouldn't I be? While I was away, you and him became awful good friends.
We were always friends, the three of us. We grew up on the same block.
Yeah, but while I was away, he moved into your old man's rooming house so we could be closer friends.
Oh, don't start that again tonight. We're out for a pleasant evening, and it has been pleasant so far. Please, Joe.
All right. Comes out dessert.
Two plums pudding. And coffee.
You know, when you go out with me, Lottie, you're going to get class whether you think I can afford it or not. I'm going to take you to Danceland. I'm going to buy you a whole roll of tickets. Best you'd get out of that tightwad fur is a soda and a movie. All right, that's all out, Gus. Bring me a check, will you?
You said it, Joe.
All right, Joe, since you won't drop the subject, we'll talk about Bird.
Swell.
He wants me to marry him.
Figured that from that dirty double-crosser.
He isn't a double-crosser.
He knows I've been going with you since we were kids, that I've always been crazy about you. And while I was taking that bum rap on the reformatory...
You didn't take a bum rap, Joe. You asked for what you got.
All right, so the cops had the goods on me. That gave Bird no right
It
to...
gave me a right to do a lot of thinking.
And so you decided a sneaky yellow drip like my cousin is a better bet than me, huh?
I don't think Bird is sneaky or yellow.
Oh, you don't, huh?
No. And I don't think you're a criminal.
It's nice of you to say that.
I'm not being nice. I'm saying what I believe. If you make me sure you've learned your lesson,
Yeah?
well, you won't have to worry about me liking Bird or anyone. There's never really been anybody but you, Joe. Only I've got to be sure.
How do I make you sure, Lottie?
Just show me and Dad that you're steady, that's all.
And I've been showing you that since I came back. Didn't I get a job right away?
Yes, Joe, but I don't see how you can afford those 2 new suits and that overcoat with what you're making.
Oh, I get it. Bird can buy clothes or take you out, and it's okay, isn't it? He's never had trouble with the cops. But the minute I spend an extra buck, you and your old man figure I've glommed it somewhere.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Your old man especially. Hates my insides. He don't want you to have anything to do with it.
If Dad hated you, he wouldn't let you stay at our rooming house.
He rents rooms and I pay for the one I rent. That's business. And to ease your mind about the extra dough I spent, Lottie, I'm a lucky guy with dice and a good pool player.
Here's your check, kid.
Thanks, Gus. Pay you so we can get out of here. We're going to Danceland. What?
Joe?
I haven't got my wallet.
Oh, you've lost your money?
I don't know. Maybe I left it home.
Well, phone Dad. He'll look in your room.
Well, if he found it, I'd have to go there for it. It's only a few blocks. You stay here, Lottie, while I go
Oh, you don't have to leave the lady here, kid. You're an old customer. I know you come back and pay.
Well, thanks, Gus, but I can make better time alone. Hand me my overcoat with even that racket sleeve blue in there.
Sure. Oh, this fancy coat. Nice and bright with red stripes. You got a class, kid.
Yeah, but right now I got no dough. I'll come back as soon as I can, Lottie.
I hope you find your money.
Yeah, I hope so, too. And how?
Gee, Casey, it's nice of you and Miss Williams to have Thanksgiving dinner here in the Blue Note with me.
We're nice people, Ethelbert.
Well, the very best. True, warm-hearted, and generous to a fault. Pass the salt.
Also honest, kind, and steadfast. Here's the salt. And
Sure.
pepper.
You know, we're really understating our sterling qualities, Annie. We've risen to the heights of magnanimity, whatever that is, by chewing Thanksgiving turkey in this crummy joint we see every day simply because our little pal here had to work. He could only get away from his bartending long enough to grab a meal on the house. We hope you appreciate our sacrifice, Ethelbert.
Oh, I do.
Good. Pardon my reach for the Tabasco. To prove your gratitude, Ethelbert, you can pay for our dinners.
Yeah, well...
Tabasco, Annie?
Huh?
Thanks. Hey, you've made a splendid suggestion, Casey. Paying our bill will relieve Ethelbert of a small part of his obligation for our company.
Yep.
Say, come to think of it, you two are working today yourselves. You didn't have time to get a full meal any further away from your office than this crummy joint.
Ethelbert, you impugn our motives. He destroys my faith in human nature.
Yes. The spirit of the day is entirely lost upon this lug.
Casey, if you'd pay me what you already owe this crummy joint, I'd be only too happy to buy you dinner. Get it, Walter?
This guy's too wise for us, Annie.
I'm afraid so, Casey.
Casey,
Yeah, Walter?
you wanted the bar phone, you said it down.
Oh, nuts. I'm only just finished my turkey.
No, this means no dessert, Casey.
I'll see what Bert wants.
Well, stall him off if you can.
Yeah, I'll do my best, Annie. Hello, Grace. Hello, Casey speaking. Look, Bert, we haven't finished our dinner yet. Oh, all right. Wait till I get my pencil. Corner of Whitestone and Evans. Well, what happened there? What, is that all? For a run-of-the-mill story like that, we got to leave our dessert? Well, okay, Burke. All right, goodbye. Why I stick to this newspaper racket, I don't know.
What was it, Casey?
All the Look, we got to get out to Whitestone and Evans, Ann. Some mug just held up a filling station there and got away with a couple of $100.
Did he shoot anyone?
No.
Huh?
Just one of those inside page fillers. Burke says news is light and we got to cover it.
All right, where is Whitestone and Evans?
It's way uptown, not far from Petrakis Olympian Restaurant. You know, we've eaten there a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember. Any description of the hold-up guy?
Yeah, he wore a flashy blue overcoat with red stripes. See you later, pal.
So long, Ethelbert.
So long. Say, wait! Who's going to pay for this crummy joint?
Our story will continue in just a moment. In mansion or cottage, in city or town, Thanksgiving Day is a time for family reunions, feasting, and fun. But through all the gaiety, there runs a deep note of real thanksgiving for blessings past and present. There's a tacit recognition that a better-fed nation is a stronger, happier nation. And one of the ways in which the American way has made its greatest progress is in the production, preparation, and distribution of food. Now, take the matter of delivering food alone. The great organizations who process and ship us our better foods know that flavor, purity, and freshness are best preserved by clean, sanitary glass. And that's why, as you look around the shelves of your food stores, you see that so many famous brands are brought to you in gleaming, protective containers made of glass. Containers that preserve and safeguard flavor and taste while they permit you to see in advance exactly what you're buying. It's noteworthy that many of the leading brands of food of all kinds come to you in Anchor glass containers sealed with tamper-proof Anchor caps. Products of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
here's what happened, Miss Williams. I'm working the station, see? I'm here in the office when this hold-up guy opens the door and says, give me your dough.
He had a gun, of course.
Oh, sure, he had a gun. The time was about 7:15.
What did you notice about the guy aside from his flashy overcoat?
Well, he wore his hat pulled down over his eyes, and a handkerchief was tied around the lower part of his face. Also, he worked fast.
What'd he do?
Well, he told me to get into the the restroom there and to keep quiet. He locked the door on me, and I heard him open up the money drawer there, and then I heard him leave the joint. I started pounding on the door, and after a while, I managed to bust out. That was about 7:45. And then I phoned the cops.
You mind if I shoot a picture of that busted door, Sergeant?
Go ahead, Casey.
Thanks.
You'll want to picture me, too, won't you, Mr. Casey?
Huh? You? Oh, sure, yeah. The door and you. I'll shoot the door first.
It's going to give me old lady a big kick to see me written up on her papers.
Hey, was this big puddle of grease in front of this door, Jones, when the hold-up guy locked you in?
Oh, yeah. I spilled it there earlier, and I didn't have time to clean it up.
Now, the mug must have stepped in it, Casey. Along with the description of his flashy coat I've sent out, I included instructions to look for a guy with dirty grease stains on his shoes.
Well, the two things together ought to nail him, Sergeant.
Yeah, I told the Sarge here's something else that ought to nail a guy.
What's that?
Well, one of the bills he stole out of the money drawer was an old 20 that had been torn in two and kind of stuck together with Scotch tape. I took it in just before the robbery, so I remember it.
Well, looks like you cops have plenty to work on, Sarge.
Yeah.
Well, we got all there is, Annie. Let's blow out of here and get back to the Blue Note, get some plum pudding and coffee.
Aha, come on.
Hey, ain't you going to take my picture first?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll kind of stand here by the empty cash drawer, and point my finger at it.
Yeah, that'll be original. Well, stand and point, pal. Go ahead.
Great.
All set now. Shoot.
Jones.
Hey, Gus, I'm getting my picture took. Don't walk in front of the camera.
I have just heard what happened to you. About that guy in the blue overcoat which hold you up.
Well, I'll tell you all about that later, Gus. As soon as I get my picture.
No, I tell you and those cops about it now.
You'll tell.
Who are you?
Oh, I am Gus Nikopopoulos. I am waiter in Petrakis Olympian restaurant 3 blocks from here. And I know who is the kid who robbed my good friend Jones.
You know?
Yeah, I know as soon as I am told the news about that fancy overcoat.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I tell you cops everything. Even where to find this hold-up kid. He tell me he is going with his girl to dance line.
Got no right to pull me off that dance floor, copper.
Don't believe this waiter, Sergeant. Joe hasn't held up anybody.
We're going to see about that. Close the door, will you, Casey?
Okay, Sarge.
Now, this overcoat we got from the check room, it's yours, isn't it, Bowers?
Yeah, that's my coat.
And you, Jones. Say the guy who stuck you up wore a coat just like it?
It's the same coat, Sergeant.
You're nuts. The store I bought this blanket had a couple of dozen just like it.
Now, take it easy, kid. If your story's okay, we'll check on everyone who owns a coat like this. I'm going to search you. While I'm at it, you can tell us what you did after leaving Petraka's restaurant. After you couldn't find your wallet, I mean.
I went straight to my room and house to look for my dough. Finally, I found it in the dresser drawer. And I came straight back to Petraka's for Lottie. That's Miss Newcomb here.
Yeah.
The dough's in that wallet you just took out of my pocket. It's about $40, and it's mine. I didn't steal it.
Hey, is that torn 20 in the wallet, Sergeant?
No, Jones.
Torn 20?
I guess he hasn't got a gun on him either, Sarge.
He's clean, Casey.
Yeah, so are his shoes. Grease would show up plain on those light tans.
Well, he may have changed shoes and hidden a few things.
Yeah. How far is your rooming house from that filling station, kid?
It's 2 blocks away down Evans Street. My father runs it.
How long did Joe leave you in Petrakis while he was finding his money?
I didn't time him.
It wasn't more than 15 minutes, maybe a half an hour. So what?
So you had plenty of time to stick up Jones and go to your room before you came back to Petrakis.
All right, if that's the way you dope it, copper, search my room.
I'm going to do that little thing, young fella. All of you. Let's go.
Lottie, why have you and Joe come home with all these people and these policemen?
Everything's all right, Dad. They made a mistake about Joe, but it's going to be all right.
A mistake about Joe?
A big mistake, Mr. Newcomb.
I don't understand.
I'm Sergeant Healy, 5th Detective District. There was a stick-up a few blocks from here tonight, and Joe Bowers here is under suspicion.
A stick-up? Joe?
He didn't do it, Dad. I know he didn't.
You were with him, Lottie. You must know.
Your daughter wasn't with him for a long half hour. Mr. Newcomb, I haven't taken time to get a search warrant, so I'd like your permission to go over Joe's room.
Give him a go-ahead. I have. He'll find nothing to tie me up with any heist job.
All right with you, sir?
Oh, yes, of course.
Thanks. Take me to your room, Bowers.
Come on.
Everybody else stay here with this uniformed officer.
Miss Williams and I'd like to go with you and Joe, Sarge.
Okay, Casey.
Oh, thanks, Sergeant.
My room's on the next floor. It's right up those stairs.
Well, lead the way, kid. And don't try anything tricky.
Why should I try anything? What you got on me is that a stick-up guy wore an overcoat like mine. And that's all you're gonna get. There's the door of my room, copper. Open it. Make yourself at home.
Give me a key.
The door isn't locked. I never bother. I'll turn on the lights. Now do your stuff.
I will.
You won't find anything locked up here. Because I got nothing worth stealing. And nothing to hide. Now, if you were going to work on my cousin's room across the hall, you'd need a fistful of keys. He's one of those careful, secretive guys, you know?
You got a cousin living across the hall?
Yeah, his name's Ferd. A Ferdinand. And is he a crumb?
I figure you don't like him.
I like him about as much as he likes me. Maybe more. Because he's been making a play for my girl. He isn't getting anywhere. How you doing, copper? You see anything of the dough I'm supposed to have stolen or the gat you think I use in that stick-up?
Not yet, kid.
And you won't. I'm 100% in the clear.
Oh, yeah? How did this get under your carpet?
What?
Casey.
A torn $20 bill.
Stuck together with Scotch tape.
I never saw that bill before.
And I think Jones will identify it as the one taken from his cash drawer.
Wait a minute. There's more dough under this rug, Sarge. A couple of $100 at least.
I spotted it, Casey.
I don't know how it got there. I didn't pull that stick up.
Cut the comedy, Joe. This money nails
This
you.
is a frame-up. I tell you, it's a
Where'd
frame-up.
you hide your gun?
I never had a gun. I swear I did.
Come clean, kid. Where's the gun?
Wait a minute. Will you give me a break? Let me think. Let me think a minute. Yeah, there's just one mug will pull a thing like this. And if you're right, guys, you won't let him get away with it. Question Ferd, Sergeant. Question my cousin Ferd. His room's right across the hall.
Might be a good idea, Sergeant.
Okay. Let's go over.
There's the room.
Yes?
I'd like to talk to you a minute. This is the police.
Just a second. We're just starting to get ready for bed.
I'm Detective Sergeant Healy, young man. This is Miss Williams and, Mr. Casey.
Are you?
Hello there.
What do you want?
Let me close this door. Your cousin Joe here has made some accusations against you that it's my duty to investigate.
Oh, he has he?
Do you own an overcoat like Joe's here? Blue with red stripes?
An overcoat like that?
Or have you ever worn one?
I wouldn't wear a zoot blanket like that if you paid me.
You say?
Yes, I say.
Mind if I look around your room?
Why?
Bert, someone wearing an overcoat like Joe's held up the Whitestone filling station tonight.
What?
You know where I bought this coat, Ferd. I think you got one just like it on the QT. I think you slipped my wallet out of my pocket just before I left here with Lottie tonight, so I'd have to leave her and look for it. You were watching the restaurant when I left it. You went to that filling station.
Why, you're crazy. Sergeant, you can't believe
Maybe
it.
I don't. But I want to search your room.
Oh, wait a minute.
Huh?
Have you got a search warrant?
No.
Then get out of here.
Say.
I know my rights. Unlike a certain relative of mine, I've got a clean record.
Who are you calling a lousy
You,
rat?
Joe.
Why, I'll knock
And
your
if
teeth
it's-
out.
Cut it up. Cut it, both of you. So you don't want me to search your room, hey, young fella?
You heard me before, Sergeant.
Hey, pal, wait a minute. You're taking the wrong attitude. If you got nothing to hide, this isn't the way to show it.
He's got a good reason for saying you can't search, and I'm going to prove it.
Keep out of that closet, Joe.
Take me if you can.
I'll make you
Hold it, Ferd.
Let me go.
Come
Let
out
me
of there,
go.
Joe. I'll get a warrant.
You
I'll
won't
tell
need a
you
warrant, Sarge. Look there. In
What?
the back of his closet, covered with other clothes.
Oh. An overcoat like yours.
Just like mine.
And in its pocket, there's a gun.
I never saw that coat before. I never saw that gun.
Well, somebody did. Come on. I'm taking you both to headquarters.
I don't know how that overcoat got in my closet, Sergeant. I swear I never saw it or that gun before.
So you've been saying for it. Both of you get into this car.
You did this to me, Joe.
Sure, I got wise to your frame-up, you louse. I threw it right back at you.
We'll continue our discussion at the station house.
Of course, you'll only hold me long enough to get my testimony. I'll be back home in an hour or so.
Maybe. You and Miss Williams tagging along after us, Casey?
No, Sarge. I may give you a buzz later, though.
We still have our Thanksgiving dinner to finish.
So why don't you two get jobs that won't make you work on holidays?
Why don't you?
You mean like Captain Logan?
I've been thinking about it for the last 25 years. Good night.
Night,
Go on.
Sergeant Healy.
Come on, let's get in our car, Casey, and get our stuff to the
I'm
paper.
going back to that rooming house, Annie.
Why?
Are you convinced that Cousin Bird framed Cousin Joe?
Well, his attempt to prevent a search of his room didn't look very good.
Annie, I'm just thinking.
Oh, Joe found that overcoat with what might be called surprising ease.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to believe that Joe would invite his own arrest in order to frame his cousin. Why, one little slip.
The framer, whoever he is, did make a slip, Annie. His plan didn't anticipate a grease puddle. And he had to get rid of a pair of shoes that may walk back and kick him.
Well, none of the shoes in Joe's room or in Bird's had any grease stains on them.
No. Sergeant Healy hasn't forgotten those missing shoes, and he'll be back pretty soon to really look for them. So I'm going to start looking right now. I'll ring Newcomb's bell.
Sometimes I wish your snooping instincts were more restrained, Casey. I'd like a cup of coffee now and pop...
Hi, Mr. Newcomb.
Mr. Casey?
Yes, may we come in?
Of course, but
We didn't go with Sergeant Healy and his prisoners. I wanted to ask, how's your daughter now? She wasn't taking this thing very well when we left.
Oh, she feels terrible about it. Miss Williams, perhaps a woman can talk to her better than I can. Will you try to convince her that everything will come out all right?
Well, I'll gladly try, Mr. Newcomb.
She's in our private living room.
Yeah, go on in and talk to her alone, Annie. I'll stay here.
All right.
It breaks my heart to see my girl crying, Mr. Casey. She's all I have. She blames herself for what has happened. It isn't her fault that two young fools became so infatuated with her. I knew they hated each other, but I never anticipated anything like this.
No, guess not.
Of course, you had some reason for coming back here, Mr. Casey.
Yes, I came back to ask your permission.
Yes?
I want permission to ask a few personal questions between ourselves and off the record.
Very well.
You haven't wanted Joe for a son-in-law, have you?
In my place, would you? The boy has served a reformatory sentence that, according to my observation, has failed to steady him or improve his sense of values.
Bird has been Joe's opposite, I imagine.
He always seemed so.
Lottie strikes me as a pretty sensible girl, Mr. Newcomb. Unless one of those fellows confesses he framed the other, or it can be definitely proven, she'll doubt both of them too much to marry either one of them.
Yes, I think that's so.
And as there'll be no confession or definite proof, things should work out exactly as you planned.
As I planned?
You're the guy behind this double frame-up.
Oh, Mr. Casey.
You didn't think I'd be back, did you? You shouldn't have changed back into those comfortable old shoes after Sergeant Healy left here. You did a lousy job of cleaning off that grease.
Oh, but...
You held up that filling station and framed both the boys to keep your daughter from marrying either one of them.
I was very foolish, wasn't I?
Yes, I think so. Shall I call Sergeant Healy?
All right. You can call Sergeant Healy, Mr. Casey. I'm ready to confess.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me take a close look at those shoes.
What?
The pool of grease in that filling station you heard us talk about wasn't deep enough to reach far above the soles of a shoe. Hey. You greased those shoes yourself. You spread it on so thick it covers the toes and heels.
I didn't spread it on.
Pal, you're a beautiful liar. And I'm a beautiful dope. You greased those shoes and put them on knowing the cops would come back and spot them. You were willing to take the rap. Because your kid is in love with one of those punks.
You can't prove that. Nobody can. And when I confess, that's all that's needed.
You forget. The police lab will compare the grease on these shoes with a filling station grease, and it won't be the same. And then Sergeant Healy will go right back to work on Joe and Ferd.
The police laboratory can tell?
Yes, definitely, Mr. Newcomb. But if it couldn't, don't you think your confession would be much harder for your daughter to take than the loss of a little rat she thinks she cares for?
But I couldn't bear to see her cry anymore. All I could think of to do was what I tried. You see, I know the guilty boy, Mr. Casey, and she's loved Joe ever since they were children.
No, Joe...
I found his grease-stained shoes hidden in the cellar tonight. His taste in shoes is like his taste in overcoats, so I could make no mistake.
Well, let's get him. Take him to the cops. Later, Mr. Newcomb, your daughter's going to realize that the lowdown she'll get on Joe tonight is a cause for real Thanksgiving.
join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment.
This is Harry Marvel to remind you how important the new Anchor Glass one-way no-deposit bottle is to your enjoyment of ale and beer. It's a custom-made container made just for you. No one has used it before, and no one ever will use it again. When you're through with it, you dispose of it as you would any other food container. There's no deposit, no fuss or bother. And the new Anchor Glass one-way bottle assures you of sparkling ale and beer without cloudiness and with no foreign flavor or aroma. Beer that's truly brewery bright. Most of the brewers of New England and those who ship ale and beer into New England have adopted this bottle for your protection and added convenience. For the Anchor Glass one-way bottle not only costs the brewer less than any other type of single-trip container, but it also gives you much more for your money. So here's a good rule. When buying ale and beer, always demand a glass bottle. And for extra convenience, demand your favorite brand in the new Anchor Glass one-way no-deposit bottle, a product of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
So, the shoes fit Joe and he had to wear them, huh, Casey?
They pinched so tight he cracked wide open, Ethelbert. He admitted planting a duplicate of his coat in Ferd's closet, everything.
If his scheme had worked, Lottie would never have spoke to Ferd again and she'd have married Joe.
Well, that was Joe's idea, Ethelbert, but it worked out in reverse. Lottie sank into Ferd's manly arms when she heard the lowdown, and she seemed very comfortable.
See what some guys will do for love. As my sister Edna says, quote, if love didn't make the world go round, there wouldn't be so much dizziness. Unquote.
Or so much niceness.
Yeah. A grand guy, Lottie's old man. Hey, Annie, what's the matter with us? We got plum pudding and coffee still coming to us. How about it, Ethelbert, huh?
Oh, it's about time.
Well, what's so funny?
There isn't any more.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Caps and Closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. If civilization is to survive, we must reaffirm our religious faith. It's up to each of us. Do your part by supporting and attending your church or synagogue. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
What's puzzling you, Ethelbert?
One of those quizzes. And it says here, what are these men famous for? Sidney Porter, Samuel Clemens, Charles Dodgson.
Well, they're all great authors.
Well, how come I never heard of them?
Well, you would if they printed their pen names. They're O. Henry, Mark Twain, and Lewis Carroll.
Well, I'll be. Those names are famous. Everybody knows them.
Mm-hmm. Like everybody knows Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole. Our adventure for tonight, The Serpent Goddess. Early afternoon, around 2 o'clock. A sumptuous suite in one of our city's finest hotels. There's a knock at the door, and a big, weather-beaten man opens it.
I guess you're the newspaper folks that found me. I'm Dan Sykes.
Yeah, thanks for giving us this appointment, Mr. Sykes. This is Miss Williams. My name is Casey.
Oh, I'm real pleased to meet you, Miss Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Sykes.
You're a swell-looking kid.
Thanks again.
Come in, make yourself at home.
Thanks.
Well, what can I do for you?
Well, through a mix-up, Mr. Sykes, our paper didn't have anyone at the airport this morning to cover your arrival with Mr. Johansson. And the Morning Express wants to rectify its blunder now with a special interview.
Pictures, too. Take all the pictures you want and ask all the questions you want.
Well, we'd like to have your partner, Mr. Johansson, in on this. We phoned him, but he wasn't in.
Oh, Chris went out to look for a cheaper place to live. He ain't like me. I'm going to enjoy my dough.
According to our news service reports, you and Johansson have already sold part of the emeralds you found in South America for over $1 million.
That's right. I'm a nouveau rich. But we didn't sell the best ones. We brought the eyes back here to the States with us.
The eyes?
Well, that's what Chris and I call the two big emeralds we found.
Reports on how you found all those emeralds have been rather conflicting, Mr. Sykes. What's the real lowdown?
Well, Chris and I were flying an old crate out of Caracas on our way to Lima when a gas line broke and we had to bail out over the jungle. While we were trying to find our way out, we come out of some ruins of an old Indian town, and under a stone we accidentally knocked over, we found them emeralds. And that's all there was to it.
There wasn't another man with you and Mr. Johansson?
No, we were alone.
Well, the first story we got on you fellas was that two very sick men, one with a pocket full of emeralds, had staggered into a village at the edge of the jungle, raving about a third guy they'd seen crushed to death by a big snake.
A huge boa constrictor or an anaconda with, of all things, a human face.
Yeah, well, naturally, a yarn like that made news.
One of them South American reporters dreamed up that crazy stuff. Whoever saw a snake with a human face? Excuse me, someone at the door. Oh, hello, Chris.
I think I find me a place to live, Sykes. But such high prices. Oh, you got company.
Oh, they're newspaper folks. This is Chris Johansson, Miss Winter.
How do you do, Mr. Johansson?
Well, you are a pretty lady, Miss Williams.
And this is Casey.
Hello, Mr. Casey.
How are you?
They've been interviewing me about our emeralds, Chris. I just been telling them that snake story was a lot of bunk.
Sykes and me was alone in that jungle. Also, we are not afraid of no drums.
Drums?
One of the goofy stories they told about us was that when we come out of that jungle, we raved about hearing drum beats all the time.
We was sick with fever, Sykes. We didn't know what we were saying.
We never said anything about drums.
No, we never said nothing because we had no reason to.
That's right.
I would like a drink, Sykes. I see you got a bottle there.
Yeah, help yourself. Well, what other questions you want to ask, Miss Williams?
Well, I'd like to know
Sykes.
who you're...
A drum.
It can't be here.
No, not in the city.
It can't be here.
What's the matter with you fellas?
Nothing. Oh, there's music now, Chris. Huh? Look out of this window. There's only some Salvation Army folks down there with a bass drum and a couple of horns.
Just Salvation Army people with an ordinary old bass drum.
Good night, Mrs. Wheelbreaker. Now, Casey, what was I saying?
Saying good night to Mrs. Wheelbreaker. Oh, I don't know, pal. You hadn't started to say anything yet.
Hadn't I?
No.
Oh, I remember. You know that fella Sykes, who you and Miss Williams told me about interviewing a couple of weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he come into this bar today, and I served him a couple of drinks. I recognized him immediately from the pictures you took for your paper. After the little blonde he had with him called him Dan Sykes.
No, afterwards. You had a little blonde along, huh?
Uh-huh.
A few days ago, we saw him with a big brunette.
Well, he told us he was going to enjoy his dough, Eddie.
He's an awfully nervous-acting guy, Casey. Walter happened to hit the bottom of an empty wooden ice tub he was taking down cellar, and when it went boom like a drum, I thought Sykes was going to faint dead away.
Yeah, he and Johansson are certainly allergic to drum beats, aren't they?
They didn't give you no idea why?
No. Their only explanation was an obvious phony.
The original news report was... Hey, you really think there was another fellow with him in that jungle who was squeezed to death by a big snake with a human face?
Well, there's good reason to believe that a third man may have parachuted into the jungle with Sykes and Johansson.
Yeah?
According to Inside Dope, our paper can't print without risking a libel suit, Sykes and Johansson used their plane for smuggling jobs. And it's thought they specialize in smuggling people from one South American country into another.
Like wanted criminals, red hots.
Yeah, and political troublemakers.
It's suspected that Sykes and Johansson were taking an exiled revolutionist back to a country he'd been kicked out of when their plane went bad. And that he's the other man they talked about when they came out of the jungle.
They were both delirious from fever then, but when they recovered and knew what they were saying, they quickly changed their story.
You figure they told the truth while they were delirious?
Well, they couldn't help it.
Then it must have been true about the third guy getting crushed by a big snake. But a snake with a human face.
Yeah. Oh, we can't worry about it here any longer. Casey, we've got to get back to the office.
Yeah, before city desk starts paging. What do I owe you, pal?
It's only 60 cents.
Oh, only 60 cents. Too bad. I guess I got that much.
Oh, excuse me. There's the bar phone. Hello? Just a second. Your city desk is paging you, Casey.
Huh? Oh, give me. Oh, this is Casey. 301 Hawthorne Street, apartment 3A. Okay, I got it, Burke. Well, what goes there? Who? Say that again, Burke. In a city apartment? Whew. Hey, that's a story, all right. We'll get right up there.
Hey, what is it, Casey?
You look funny.
Chris Johansson has been found dead in his apartment.
Sykes' partner?
Yeah. Annie, he was crushed to death.
Crushed?
Squeezed. As though a big snake had coiled itself around him.
Our story will continue in just a moment. To you who enjoy good, wholesome American beer and ale, here's the easiest, most convenient, and most satisfactory way to buy it. Ask for your favorite brand in the new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle. Now, here's a bottle made just for you. No one has ever used it before. No one will ever use it again. And it costs so little that it can be thrown away when empty, just like any other food container. You pay no deposit, never have empties cluttering up your kitchen, or bother about returning them to the store. And though it holds exactly as much as the regular beer bottle, the one-way bottle is so compact that it takes up a minimum of precious refrigerator space. It's light and easy to carry. It chills beer more quickly and holds the chill longer. It looks well on any table. But most important of all, it's made of glass. And because it's made of glass, it brings you beer and ale of perfect clarity, untouched by any foreign flavor. The Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle is a product of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
Captain Logan, did the medical examiner say that a big snake?
He didn't say a snake did it, Miss Williams. He merely said that, well, that a python or boa constrictor were the only things he knew of that would kill in such a way. Johansson was literally squeezed to death by something big and smooth that coiled around his entire body.
In this apartment?
Yes, Casey.
Well, what do you think, Captain?
Only that a snake big enough to do the killing didn't do the killing. That's too crazy, Miss Williams. Oh, nuts, Casey. I just can't figure this one out at all.
You know about the first news story we had on Johansson and Sykes, huh?
Yes, I think you told me about it, but well, that fantastic yarn can't have any bearing.
Naturally, you're going to question Sykes.
My men have orders to bring him here as soon as they can find him.
Well, here's your sergeant now, Logan. Now, maybe now we'll get the lowdown.
You found Sykes at his apartment, Sergeant?
Yes, Captain. I gave it to him cold about Johansson's death. I thought he was going to pass out on me. Especially when I told him it looked like the job of a big snake. He kind of whispered to himself, "She followed us."
She followed us?
Yes, sir.
Well, were you able to find out where he was last night when Johansson was killed?
Well, Sykes was throwing a big party in his place. His alibi is perfect.
Now, bring him in.
Yes, sir.
She followed us.
That's a screwy one, Casey.
Yeah.
Another screwy one, like his fear of drums.
Mr. Sykes, sir.
Oh, I'm Captain Logan, Homicide Bureau, Mr. Sykes. You already know Miss Williams and Mr. Casey.
Let me see, Chris.
Now, the body's still in the next room where it was found. Now, step in. Take a look.
So that's what she does to a man.
Who is this she?
Let me out of here, Captain. I can't look anymore.
Now, let's go back into the other room. Sit down, Mr. Sykes, and tell us what you know about this thing.
I may as well tell you. I know now there's no way of getting away from her. Vasco said we couldn't.
Vasco?
She got Vasco first. Now it's Chris. Soon it'll be me.
You explain what you're talking about?
Okay. There were three of us who bailed out of the plane over the jungle.
Casey,
Quiet, Andy, quiet. Vasco had caused a lot of political trouble in his own country, and he'd been told to stay out of it, or else. He paid Chris Johansson and me $1,000 to fly him back there without anyone getting wise. We'd have done it if our plane hadn't gone wrong. But it did, and we had to jump. We were in luck, we thought, because all of us landed safe in the clearing. Then, all of a sudden...
Sykes, what was that?
Sounded like a drum, Chris.
It is a drum.
Oh, that's nuts, Vasco. There's nothing but animals in this part of the jungle. You saw it from the air. We're deep in the bush.
Ah, look there. Yeah. Guys with spears and clubs.
Indians.
They are all around this clearing. You got the only gun, Sykes. Shoot. No, don't. The biggest man have laid down his spear and lift his hand in a sign of peace.
Try. They're all laying down their weapons.
It looked like they are coming as friends.
They were friendly Indians. They took us to their village and treated us swell. Seems we were the first white men they'd ever run into.
Isolated tribe.
Vasco called them a lost tribe, Casey. They had houses full of stone, and they acted civilized. That is, outside of their religion.
Their religion?
They worship snakes.
Now, go on.
Well, boa constrictors were sacred to them. And they made human sacrifices to the boa.
How?
When anyone broke a law, they tied them up in big drums. After a while, a big snake would slide out of the jungle, and well, I saw it done, but it didn't warn me.
Let's have the rest, though.
The top medicine man, the head priest of the tribe, had a good-looking daughter who fell for me hard. She had a bracelet of emeralds.
Huh? Oh.
Wait. After I picked up a little of her language, she told me where there were bigger, finer emeralds. I told Chris and Vasco what she'd said, so one night the three of us started out.
We must be getting close to the place she told you about, Sykes.
Yeah, as I get it from her, Chris, we'll find a long stone building completely hidden by jungle growth. Hold your torch higher, Vasco.
All right. I do not like this business, Sykes.
You gonna start that again?
If they catch us before we can escape, well, you have seen what happened to men who break their law.
They're not gonna get me squeezed by any big snake, not while I have a gun.
Listen, those drums.
I hear.
They are calling the big snake for the sacrifice tonight.
Yeah, that's why I picked tonight to come here. The whole village will be attending the ceremony.
You're sure nobody guards that temple where we go to?
The girl says it's guarded only by the spirits. They won't bother us.
We shall be robbing their temple.
Oh, look. There's the long stone building.
That's the place.
We can walk right in.
Sure, and take what we want. Come on.
It is so dark in there, and these torches give so little light.
They'll give enough. The emeralds are in back.
On a statue, you said?
Yeah. Come on.
Sykes, I see. Hold it. A snake. A big snake. Run, get out.
Chris, you fool. It's the statue.
The statue?
Yes, Chris. Carved of stone with a human face.
Look, I see now. It has a woman's face.
And its eyes are emeralds. The biggest I've ever seen.
And the emerald necklace.
We'll be millionaires, Chris.
Yeah, millionaires.
I'll climb up and get them. What's that?
The drum. It started when you touched the snake statue. Maybe it's a warning.
Buck, hand me a knife, Chris.
Here. And be quick, Sykes.
You are going to...
Do what I came to do, Vasca. Cut off this necklace and pry out them emerald eyes. After I pried the emerald eyes out, the three of us beat it fast. But when we slept, we dreamed of drums and that big statue of the Serpent Goddess, the snake with the woman's face. And sometimes deep in the jungle, we'd hear drums or think we heard them. Vasca kept saying we'd never get away with what we'd done. He wanted his cut just like the rest of us. We kept on chopping our way through the tangled bush, hoping we'd finally get out of that jungle. One day, when we laid down...
There is no reason, Sykes, why you do not divide those emeralds now instead of waiting.
I told you. Chris and I have voted no. We're 2-1.
Yes, 2-1. And every day we get closer to the edge of the
Will you
jungle.
cut it out, Vasca? We ain't going to do nothing to you.
Not a thing. It's your turn to scare up some grub. Suppose you get at it.
Why will you never lend me your pistol, Sykes?
Use your knife. I told you. I'm a good shot, and I don't waste bullets, and I'm saving the few I've got left.
For what?
For emergencies, of course.
I see.
Now, get going. I'm hungry.
I go. Listen.
To what?
I don't hear nothing but birds.
I hear drums.
I don't hear any drums.
You don't hear them now?
No.
There are no drum sounds.
Maybe I hear them because I will be the first of us to pay for robbing the Serpent Goddess. I go to hunt for food.
Guy's driving me nuts, Chris.
Me too. Besides, you didn't hear no drum.
No, I'm sure. Did you?
I do not think so. I'm not always sure.
He said maybe he heard him because he'll be the first of us to... Sykes! It's Vasca!
Snake? Come away, Sykes. Run.
Away, Chris. Away! We didn't try to help him. We knew it'd be no use. We were afraid.
Just left the guy to die.
Yes, Casey. All we did was run until we dropped and couldn't run anymore. Then the fever got us. I woke up in a village where the news reporters came, and Chris and I denied the true things we'd said while the fever was in our heads because...
I can guess why you denied this story.
Now she's followed us. She's paid off Chris, and I'm next.
see nothing in the paper today about Johansson killing Casey. Ain't Captain Logan going to arrest Sykes?
What for?
His alibi was 100%.
Yeah, but he confessed to stealing them emeralds.
In another country, pal. From jungle Indians.
Oh.
There is one thing, Ethelbert, but it doesn't look very promising.
What is it, Miss Williams?
Well, Logan's turned up a witness who says he saw Johansson let a woman into his apartment about a half hour before he was killed.
A woman?
Yeah, described as a small brunette and carrying a small leather traveling case.
Oh, a little skinny girl couldn't squeeze a big guy to death?
No.
You think Sykes will be bumped off like Johansson was and that Vasca?
Oh, he seems to think so. That's funny. That guy's trying to pack a month of life into every hour because he figures every hour will be his last. Say, Annie, what do you say? Let's drop off at his new apartment on our way home. Maybe we can cheer him up a little.
Okay, Scout, if you must do a good deed.
Well, it's a selfish good deed. I'd like to hear Sykes talk some more about that guy, Vasca.
Oh, there's a parking spot, Casey, in back of that old Ford coupe.
That's for us. Hey, somebody put a bad dent in the fender of that jalopy.
I'll say. Oh, Sykes certainly got himself a swanky place to live when he moved out of that hotel. Whole first floor of these new garden apartments.
Yep. Come on, I'll get you out of the car.
Okay.
There's a light behind those Venetian blinds, so the guy's at home anyway. Let's go in.
I am sorry. Excuse me.
What case is it? But what's your hurry?
Well, she is in a hurry. Almost knocked you over and gets into that old Ford and off she
Suitcase
goes.
of hers almost cracked my shin.
She came out of Sykes' door.
Hey, Annie. She was a small, pretty brunette.
So?
With a traveling case.
Casey!
She and her Ford are out of sight. Hey, look. Let's get into Sykes' apartment quick.
Okay. Yeah, hey, she didn't close the door tight.
Nuts with ceremony and the bell. I'll open it myself.
Sykes is lying on the floor.
Just like Johansson.
Hey, is he dead?
He's dead, all right.
Oh, Casey.
I think he's been squeezed to death. Just like Johansson.
The Serpent Goddess. But that little brunette, she couldn't have crushed him.
Don't see how. When gal's answering the same description as him. Huh.
What'd you just pick up?
The valve cap off a tire. I wonder how that got here.
Tire cap. Well, that won't help any.
Hey, it's plenty help. Annie, pick up that phone and get your story into the paper.
Yeah?
I'm getting Logan at headquarters to tell him to locate an old Ford coupe with a dented rear fender. That's the car, Logan. I'm sure of it.
The garage guy here says that Ford belongs to a Miss Isabella Vasca. Is Isabella Vasca?
Yes.
I'm Captain Logan, Homicide Bureau.
Well,
Remember me, Miss Vasca? It wasn't smart to use that dented car for a getaway after you murdered Sykes.
I did not try to be careful or smart after my work was accomplished. I'm very tired. Please, take me to jail.
You admit the killing of Sykes?
I proudly admit it, for I am Pedro Vasca's sister.
So that's the connection. Where is your brother, Miss Vasca?
We never really believed he was killed by any human-faced boa constrictor.
He wasn't. He got out of the jungle. And he wrote me a letter.
Tell me about it.
My brother was sure those men, Sykes and Johansson, intended to kill him. So when he called to them that the Serpent Goddess had him in her coils, it was a trick. He knew they would run away quick and leave him as they did. Then, alone, he made his way to a village at the edge of the jungle, where he wrote to me of everything that has happened, and asked me to avenge him.
How did you do the job in such a fancy way, Miss Vasca? How did you crush those men to death?
I know how she did that, Logan.
You know, Casey.
I think so.
Oh.
First, I want to know why she did it. Why didn't your brother do his own avenging, Miss Vasca?
Because when he wrote me that letter, he was dying. Just before he reached that village at the edge of the jungle, his body was broken in the coils of a big snake.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. Very seldom do you hear a commercial announcement as important as the one we have for you tonight. It's about a brand new kind of dinnerware, a product of Anchor Glass. Its name is Jadeite. 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 It looks and feels like rare Chinese porcelain, and it's as sturdy and heat-proof as the Fire King oven glass you use in your oven. And its cost is unbelievably low. Now, for instance, a beautiful Jadeite cup and saucer costs only 15 cents. In fact, this revolutionary new Jadeite costs less than half as much as the very cheapest dinnerware on the market. Now, you can buy Jadeite items separately or a complete dinner service for $6 for less than $5. Now, the demand for Jadeite is enormous. To avoid disappointment, go to the nearest chain store, department store, or other store selling chinaware or glass tomorrow and ask for Jadeite by name. Jadeite, Jadeite, is the newest triumph of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Tell me how a little woman like that Miss Vasca was able to kill them two big guys like she did, Casey. And how did you know?
Well, that valve cap I found was a tip-off, Ethelbert. That and the suitcase she carried. And that suitcase contained a long, thick rubber tube and a portable electric air compressor pump.
And Isabella Vasca's a pretty woman, Ethelbert. Both Sykes and Johansson were wolves. She let them pick her up and take her to their apartments, and then she tapped them on the head with a well-padded blackjack that left no mark and wrapped the big tube around them and inflated it with the electric pump.
Yeah, you know, if a doctor ever used one of those blood pressure gadgets on your arm, pal, you know how air can squeeze. Of course, the doctor only uses a small bulb to pump it in a small tube.
Gee, it was as simple as all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all this certainly wrecks the notion that Serpent Goddess was paying off them three for stealing her emeralds.
Does it, pal?
Think about it, Ethelbert.
Gee.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King oven glass, Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures, all products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Help save lives by buying Christmas seals. These seals support the fight against tuberculosis. Buy and use Christmas seals, and be sure to mail your packages early. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Say, Casey, I'll bet you photographed a lot of famous people.
Well, I'm not so sure, Ethelbert.
How come?
Well, it's like this. Many a guy who looks like a ball of fire today is nothing but a wet match tomorrow.
Oh, I get it. You gotta wait before you're sure a guy is really famous.
Right. Sometimes it takes years and years to ensure fame.
Sure, like the years and years of leadership that have made Anchor Hocking the most famous name in glass. evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, The New Will. One of the showplaces of our city is the mansion of multimillionaire Bradford Randall. In the richly furnished library of this mansion at 8 o'clock in the evening, Randall, his daughter Agatha, and a dapper, handsome man face each other in anger.
This is one time, Father, that you're not going to have your own way. I've made up my mind to marry Giuseppe, and that is that.
Oh, no, Agatha. You only think you're going to make this gigolo my son-in-law.
Do not call me a gigolo, Mr. Randall.
Oh, then what are you?
I'm a man of honor who comes to you like a gentleman and asks for your daughter to be my wife. And for that, I'm insulted.
How much money have you got, Mr. Ranover?
I'm Count Ranover.
All right, Count. But answer my question.
Money is not everything.
Well, you're not finding a soft spot with me.
Father, I won't let you.
Shut up, Agatha. Now then, you get out of here, Ranover, and stay out.
If he goes, I go with him.
If you do anything foolish, Agatha, you'll regret it. And so will your boyfriend. And to convince you both that I mean business, I'm going to make out a new will tomorrow that will cut off Agatha with the minimum bequest allowed by law.
Father.
You know I don't bluff, Agatha. Tomorrow morning, I'll have Devins draw up a new will. And it'll stand until you come to your senses.
Come on, Giuseppe. Let's get out of here.
Yes, Agatha.
You'll be back, my dear. And still single.
You? Oh, I absolutely hate you.
I'll show you I don't bluff. Hello, this is Bradford Randall. Call Mr. Devins to the phone, will you? Hello, Devins. I've got a job for you to do first thing in the morning. No, wait a minute. You better do it tonight. I want a new will drawn up, and I want you to bring it here to me within the next couple of hours. Don't argue. Do as I tell you. Well, that's better. Now get yourself a pencil, Devins, and take notes of what I say. Looks as though you've done a pretty good job with this new will on short notice, Devins. So, I'm leaving practically my entire estate to, the Society for the Relief and Rehabilitation of War Victims and Displaced Persons.
You told me to name some charity. Any charity as your beneficiary?
Oh, it'll do. Of course, when that nitwit daughter of mine agrees to forget about her count, we'll destroy this and make her an heiress again. Yes, I was going to have you draw this new will up tomorrow, but Agatha and her lounge lizard might be getting married while you're doing it. But they won't after I spring this on her at breakfast. Oh, we'll need witnesses to make this good, I suppose.
Naturally.
Well, I'll get my butler and... Fieldston!
Yes, Mr. Randall.
Fieldston, get one of the other servants and come in here, will you?
There's only the upstairs maid on duty now, sir. It's after 11 o'clock.
Well, she'll do. Get her and hurry up, will you?
Well, certainly.
After 11. By the time I get
Now,
home...
quit your crabbing, Devins.
Well, why shouldn't I
You'd
crab?
better not. I made you, and I can break you.
Oh, I didn't mean it.
Here is Sophie, the maid.
Oh, come in, Sophie. Come in. I want you and Fieldston to sign a paper.
What kind of paper, sir?
What does that matter? Here's a pen. Here.
Excuse me, sir, but I have been told never to sign my name to anything I have not read over, sir.
When you work for me, you do as I tell you.
Wait a minute, Mr. Randall.
Huh?
From a legal standpoint, this girl and your butler must know what they're signing. Sophie, Fieldston, this document is a new will in which Mr. Randall bequeaths the bulk of his estate to the Society for the Relief and Rehabilitation of War Victims and Displaced Persons.
Well, if that is the case,
You
sir...
needn't have explained all that in order to make the thing legal, Devins. I'll tear this will up as soon as that girl of mine gets some sense. Well, here's my John Hancock.
Now, you sign here, young woman, as a witness.
Yes, sir.
You, Fieldston? Here.
Very good, sir.
All right. That's all. You can go now.
Thank you, Mr. Randall.
Yeah. Oh, Fielson. Yes, sir? Have me called at 7 in the morning.
Yes,
And get my daughter up at the same time. I want her to have breakfast with me.
Bring up some more lemons, Walter.
Okay, Ethelbert.
I should get more sleep.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Huh?
Casey.
Hi, pal. I think so. I'm never sure at this hour of the morning.
What are you doing around here? It's only a little after 8.
Working the early shift this week, 8 in the morning till 4 p.m. Have Walter Russell me have some coffee, will you, pal?
Hey, Walter, breakfast for Casey. Bring it here to the bar.
Okay.
I suppose you reported for work, then made a quick sneak before your city desk got wise.
The guy's got to eat, doesn't he?
Well, look at me. I already had 6 wheat cakes, half a grapefruit, a plate of ham and eggs, 2 cups of coffee, pineapple. I feel fine.
Yeah, you're lucky. Well, don't mention food again till I get some.
Casey.
Oh, hello, Annie. Good morning.
Come on, get on your bicycle. We're going places.
What? Not till I exercise my
Oh,
teeth,
yes.
Annie.
We're going to Bradford Randall's house right now.
Bradford Randall?
The Bradford Randall. One of his servants went to call him about an hour ago, about 7 o'clock, and found him dead with a bullet through his heart. Captain Logan and his homicide squad are at the house now.
Holy jump.
Bradford Randall's one of the biggest guys in this town.
And one of the crookedest, too.
But his murder is front page and double column, Casey. Come on.
Okay, cancel my breakfast, Ethelbert.
It'll be on the fire by now,
Well, then
Casey.
eat it yourself.
But I had... Well, after all, I ate just a little snack almost an hour ago.
Our story will continue in just a moment. How many times have you said to yourself, I'd give anything in the world for a cup of coffee right now? Now, what you meant was that you wanted a cup of good, hot, steaming coffee without having to fuss around in the kitchen and without waiting even a minute. Well, here's the answer. Just a cup, a spoon, and a glass jar. A glass jar of soluble coffee. Put a spoonful of this new kind of coffee in a cup, add hot water, and there you are. It's as quick as that. It's as convenient as that, if you make sure to buy your soluble coffee in a glass jar. You see, glass jars are easy to open. Just a twist of your wrist, that's all. Then there's the matter of flavor and freshness. Anchor glass jars protect soluble coffee from moisture or any other contamination. Enjoy all of the convenience of soluble coffee products by insisting on glass jars. Most of the better packers of soluble coffee protect their products by using clean, sanitary Anchor glass containers and Anchor caps. Both products of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
What happened, Captain Logan?
One of the servants discovered Randall dead in his bed when she went to call him, Miss Williams. He'd been shot through the heart around 3 a.m., the M.E. says, with his own gun, a .45 automatic. We found the gap, but it had been wiped clean of the fingerprints.
Well, that rules out suicide. Any suspects, Captain?
Too many, Miss Williams. Off the record, suspect number 1 is a party boy who calls himself Count Giuseppe Renova. He'd been out with Randall's daughter and brought her home about an hour before the murder was committed.
Well, what's his possible motive?
You don't read the gossip columns, Casey. This Renova's been giving Miss Randall a heavy rush.
Yeah, she was all set to marry the guy. Some of the servants heard a noisy quarrel between Randall, his daughter, and Renova early last evening, during which Randall said he'd disinherit her if she didn't give Renova the heir. He threatened to change his will first thing this morning. But after daughter and boyfriend left, both pretty sore, Randall got his lawyer and executed a new will last night. It cuts Agatha Randall out of the estate and out.
Yeah, but at 3 a.m., when he was murdered, Renova thought she was still a big heiress.
That's the picture. She's suspect number 2. Either one. They killed Randall to prevent him making a new will, which they didn't know had already been made.
I've met Agatha Randall, and I can believe she'd kill her own father if he got in her way.
Oh, she must be a sweet character, just like her old man. But what are your other suspects, Logan?
Anyone who is in this house. For instance, there are 16 servants, and the only one who seems sorry that Randall's dead's the butler, Fieldston. I'm not convinced he's very sincere.
Popular guy, this Randall. Renova, after he left Miss Randall at the door downstairs, could have gotten into this bedroom by climbing that trellis, Logan. You know?
Sure. And so could anyone else. Howard Devons, for example.
Randall's lawyer?
He had no love for his boss.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Now, I'm expecting Devons here any minute. I'm letting him have the will we found. He'll need it to settle the estate.
Where'd you find the will?
Lying folded on top of that dresser. Well, let's get out of this room and go downstairs.
Oh, I beg your pardon, sir.
What are you doing outside this door, Fieldston?
I was just about to knock, Captain. Mr. Devons has arrived, and I came to tell you, sir.
Where is he?
Downstairs in the library with Miss Randall. And Count Renover is there also, sir.
Now, get that maid who was your co-witness to the will last night, Fieldston, then both of you come to the library.
I'll get Sophie at once, sir.
Come on, Miss Williams. Casey.
You know, Logan, it looked as though that butler was listening at the door.
It looked very much that way.
Why do you want him and that maid in the library, Captain?
Verify their signatures on the will before I hand it over to Devons.
Oh, I see.
Now, there's the library.
Now, I won't believe that will can stand up in court, Mr. Devons. My father never meant to cut me off.
I drew that will, Miss Randall, and it'll stand up.
But...
Oh, Captain Logan.
You're Mr. Devons?
Yes.
Mind if I shoot some pictures here, Logan?
Go ahead, Casey.
I mind. I've had enough of you policemen and newspaper people around here. This is my house, and I want...
Remember the will, Miss Randall. This is not your house.
Oh, Giuseppe, what am I going to do?
Do not worry, my Agatha. I will find lawyers who will break for us that crazy will.
Count is an optimist, Danny.
And how he declares himself in. Isn't this a gorgeous room?
It's about the last word, I say. No windows in it. I guess that's for all year-round air conditioning.
Mm-hmm. And invisible lighting.
I'll lay down this film case, get a few shots.
Oh, excuse me, Captain. Here is the maid, sir.
Oh, yes. You're the girl who witnessed Mr. Randall's will last night with Fieldston?
Yes, sir.
Well, look, I can't make out the signature. What's your name?
Zofia Jadwiga Elżbieta Kupowajczyk.
No. I think Captain Logan will call you Sophie.
Yeah. Well, look at this document, Sophie. Is it the one you witnessed?
I have been told never to say a thing I'm not sure of, sir. Can I look at the paper close and careful?
Yes, I want you to. Yeah, take it.
Thank you, sir. What is that?
I shot a picture of you, Sophie. Sorry if the flashbulb startled you.
It did, sir. Excuse me for being so foolish.
Look, do you identify that will?
It looked like the paper I saw.
Look at the signature, Sophie, and the rest of it. Is it your signature?
Oh, yes, it is me. I write that last night. It is the will.
Well, I'm glad we got that, son. Hey!
What happened to the lights?
Where's the switch? Turn on those lights.
I'll find the switch, sir. There.
Oh, what?
Sophie.
What happened to you?
Somebody hit me when the lights go out and pulled that paper from my hand.
The will. The will is gone.
All right, every one of you has been searched, and we didn't find the will. But someone in this room switched off the lights, struck Sophie, and took the will from her hand, and whoever did it isn't going to get away with it. Now, the thing's somewhere in this library, and my men will find it if they have to tear the walls down. Sergeant, yes, sir. You and the boys go to work.
Okay, Captain.
Everybody else, get out of here.
You can seriously believe that I had anything to do with this strange theft?
You were in this room, and the will disappeared, Devons.
But, of course, you consider poor Miss Randall your principal suspect, Captain.
What makes you think my principal suspect isn't you, Mr. Renova?
Count Renova.
Now, all of you get out of here. Now, don't try to leave this house.
Come, Giuseppe. It will be a pleasure to get away from these people.
A great pleasure, my Agatha.
Hey, you and Miss Williams get out, too, Casey.
Okay, let me get my film case, pal.
I'll bring your photographic case, Mr. Casey.
Oh, thanks, Fieldston. Well, just put it down in the hall here.
Very good, sir.
I'm closing this library door, Sergeant. And don't let anybody in, and don't you or the boys come out until you find that will.
Okay, Captain. Will you need me any more, sir?
No, go on about your business, Fieldston. I'll find you if I want you.
Very good, sir.
Casey, come into this room. And you, Miss Williams. I want to have some gab without any interruptions. Look, what do you think?
That job was timed beautifully, Logan. Right after I'd used up a flashbulb. If I'd had another one set in my camera, I could have touched it off and caught the thief dead to rights.
Now, didn't either of you notice who stood nearest that light switch just before the room went dark?
I didn't.
Neither did I. But I'm sure 3 people weren't anywhere near the light switch. That's yourself, Logan, the lawyer Devins, and that little maid Sophie.
Now, that leaves Agatha, Renova, the butler Fieldston, you, Casey, and Miss Williams.
See, I just thought of something, Logan. Yeah? That butler Fieldston closed the door when he came into the library. If that door had been open, the room wouldn't have gone entirely dark.
Hey. And Fieldston was trying to get an earful outside that room upstairs.
What was that?
It's a man.
Upstairs. Come on.
I see him. Hey, it's the butler.
He's lying on the floor.
His head is covered with blood.
Someone socked him.
Turn him over, Logan. Open his coat.
Yeah. And his heart's beating. He's only knocked out.
Hey, that paper sticking out of the inside pocket of his coat.
Casey, it's the stolen will. Oh, my head. Now, look, the doc says you haven't been badly hurt, Fieldston. You were just put to sleep pretty rough. Now, tell us about it.
Yeah, we're very curious.
Well, all I know, gentlemen, is that I was passing along the upstairs hall, and when I passed the door of Miss Randall's room, I thought I heard it open, then something hit me.
Did you see the person who hit you?
No, Captain.
This is what you were hit with.
That silver candlestick.
Yeah. You recognize it?
It usually stands on Miss Randall's dressing table.
You heard Miss Randall's door open just before you were caught.
I thought I did, yes. Captain, do you think Miss Randall...
I'm asking the questions, Fieldston. And here's the one that pays the grand prize. Why was that will in your pocket?
Will?
Randall's new will.
I don't know.
Now, don't try to play innocent. You hit Sophie in that library and snatched the will.
I did nothing of the kind. You searched
We know why the will wasn't on you when you were searched, fella, and how you got it out of the library.
Mr. Casey, I swear...
Save it. The way I helped your scheme, Fieldston, with my film case. You stuck the will in that film case after you snatched it and before you turned on the lights. Then you carried the case out in the hall where I was dumb enough to leave it. Then you opened the case and put the will in your pocket.
That isn't true. What possible motive could I...
You knew that Agatha Randall, or Ranova, would pay anything you asked for that will. They wanted to destroy it.
And evidently they double-crossed you. Now, are you going to protect the person who tried to kill you, or are you going to talk?
I'm going to talk.
You're a sensible guy.
My head is beginning to clear, Captain. Now I realize that I've been double-crossed. Count Renova told me that he and Miss Randall would pay me $500,000 if I could get that new will. Well, I got it. But they double-crossed me. One of them tried to kill me. You bring them here, and I'll tell them that to their faces.
Get them, Sergeant.
Yes, sir.
Well, Casey, I guess that takes care of that.
It takes care of that, Logan, but you still got the murder of Randall to solve.
Captain Logan put Miss Randall and that Count Runover under arrest, huh, Casey?
Yeah, he's holding him for questioning, Ethelbert, which means they're in jail without formal charges being lodged against him.
They've admitted nothing and denied everything, Ethelbert. And as sore as the butler is against them, he admits he didn't see either of them hit him.
I have a hunch that neither Agatha nor her phony Count bumped off Randall.
Hunches aren't accepted as evidence either, Mr. Casey.
Well, who else could be the culprit, Casey?
Culprit?
Yeah.
Oh, look, pal, you've been reading that bad literature again. Culprit. Where do you get words like that? Out of True Detective comics?
No, William D. Shakespeare mentions culprits, and Allen Edward Poe and Charles Makepeace Dickens.
Yeah, you win, pal.
Well, then tell me who else besides Runover and Miss Randall...
Look, I'm going to ask you a question, my literary friend. Pal, if you were a lawyer, would you kill a client right after he'd signed a will leaving his money to charity, a legitimate charity that you selected, and then bust a second guy over the head in order to prevent that will from being destroyed by the daughter?
This is a hypothetical question, huh, Casey?
Yeah, highly hypothetical.
Extra highly hypothetical.
Oh, Andy, lay off. Come on, what's your answer, pal?
Am I a lawyer making good dough?
Plenty.
I got a wife and kids?
Now, wife, no kids.
How do I get along with the old lady?
Okay, at least there's no scandal about you anyway.
See, I got to ask these questions, Casey, because I'm awful ignorant about the lawyer I am, see?
I see. Well, now that you're enlightened, how about it?
But tell me one thing more. Have I got good sense?
Well, I think the lawyer has.
Say, was that a crack?
I don't know what you mean, pal.
Well, after mature deliberation, Casey, I've come to the conclusion that if I got dough, a happy family life, and ain't no crackpot, I would be a first-degree chump to take a chance of broiling myself in a hot seat by doing a job of murder.
Yeah, it's the same conclusion I reached, Ethelbert.
Now that you have Devons out of the way, where you go from here?
I don't know, Annie, but I still have my hunch.
Well, try eliminating all the Randall servants now. None of them like their boss or his daughter. Start with that little housemaid, Sophie. You can get rid of her quickly.
I'm not giving that poor washed-out gal a second thought.
That the dame who Fieldstone gave the black eye when he snatched the will?
Mm-hmm. The Polish girl. Awfully sweet. I spent quite a little time talking to her, Casey.
Yeah?
She's been in this country only a few years. She's a war refugee.
So?
Poor thing. You know what the war did to Poland. The Germans invaded and the Russians invaded. Well, she and her family had a terrible time.
How could she stand working for a guy like Randolph? Amongst all the other crooked things he did, he was a notorious war profiteer.
She witnessed that new will. She was told its provisions. Annie, come on. We're going to call on Sophie.
Yes, Mr. Casey. I killed Mr. Randall. And I hit that butler Fieldstone, too.
I was pretty sure you did, Sophie. After I started thinking, I wouldn't have accused you otherwise.
If you had not accused, I would have told the police anyway soon. Because now I'm sure they will not again lose that bad man's new will.
It leaves his money to the society, doesn't it, for the relief of war victims?
Yes.
The will won't be lost again. And it won't be broken, Sophie.
I believe you, Miss Williams.
Tell us what you meant to tell the police.
In our town, in Poland, war was very bad. I see my mother killed, and my father. My little sister Paula and I, we sleep in streets and get food where we can get it from. You would not like to hear about that. It is not nice to think of it. Before, I have seen my two brothers taken away by soldiers. They never come back. Finally, my little sister, Paula, she lied down to sleep and do not wake. She was too hungry. Things happened to me, too, in the war. But I'm strong and I live. I have uncle in America who get me over here, where I get job in Mr. Randall's house. Sometime I can hear Mr. Randall say how the war has made him more rich than he was before. Then last night he asked me to witness that will.
Which left his money to war victims.
Yes. And he say something which made me know he would change the will if he had the chance and leave everything to his daughter again. A woman as bad as his.
You didn't give him the chance.
No. I went to his room while he was sleeping, and I used the gun I know he'd keep there.
How about Fieldstone?
I saw him take the will he had stolen from your box, Mr. Casey. I suspect he will sell it to Miss Randall, who will destroy it. I slip into her room and get candlestick. I think that is all. Now, Miss Williams, Mr. Casey, take me to police. Casey?
Yes.
I'm not afraid, and I have no regret. You see, we who have felt war have died many times. Another time does not matter.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. Just in time for Christmas shopping, Anchor Hocking presents the perfect answer to your problem of giving something beautiful and practical. A set of jadeite dinnerware. Jadeite, spelled Jadeite. Jadeite. It has the lovely texture of Chinese porcelain, the color of green jade. It's as sturdy and heat-proof as the Fire King oven glass you bake with. Almost anyone will be delighted to receive a beautiful 35-piece jadeite dinner service consisting of 6 cups, 6 saucers, 6 dessert plates, 6 salad plates, 6 dinner plates, 1 vegetable bowl, a platter, and a sugar and creamer set. All of this for less than $5. Jadeite, a product of Anchor Glass, can also be purchased in open stock. Now, you'll find jadeite dinnerware at chain stores, department stores, and most other stores selling chinaware and glass. Ask for jadeite by name. The newest triumph of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
who have felt war have died many times. Another time doesn't matter.
What's that, Casey?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Nothing.
He's been muttering to himself like that ever since Sophie repeated her confession to the cops, Ethelbert.
I guess I have, Eddie.
What'll be done about that girl, Sophie?
She'll be sent to a hospital for the criminal insane.
The docs say she's crazy, huh?
In the legal definition. She's incapable of distinguishing between right and wrong.
She never had much chance to get acquainted with what's right in the legal definition, did she?
No, Ethelbert. She didn't even realize that there's never a justification for murder.
That's a fact, Eddie. Yeah, and many people in Europe and Asia are just like her. People who as children saw nothing but war, and whose only teaching was that might makes right, and that the end justifies the means. Boy, we're just lucky that philosophy hasn't become basic training for a lot of American kids. So far. The anniversary of Pearl Harbor was last Sunday, and in 2 weeks we celebrate Christmas. I think a lot of people over here have forgotten the meaning of both those days.
It's time all of us started thinking and doing.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Codsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Caps and Closures, all products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Photographer is directed by John Dietz. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Lives are lost needlessly every year when people die of tuberculosis. You do your part to prevent tuberculosis when you buy and use Christmas seals. And be sure to do your Christmas mailing early. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hiya, Casey.
Hiya, Ethelbert. Well, I see you got the windows and mirrors all dolled up again for the holiday.
Yeah, the same guy comes every winter and paints them for us.
Like little Jack Frost.
Huh?
You remember, when you were a kid, they told you Jack Frost painted those ice flowers on the window.
Hey, that's a good one. I'll try it on Tony. Hey, Tony.
Yeah?
Who's the famous artist that paints on glass?
Oh, that's easy. Jack Frost. And speaking of glass, everybody knows that Anchor Hocking is the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, a cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, The Life of the Party. One of the most interesting sections of our city is known as Whitaker Grange, with its winding streets and century-old houses where artists have established a colony. The more successful live and work in a narrow dead-end alley called Gedney's Close. And in the late afternoon, a familiar, battered-looking automobile pulls up near the entrance of Gedney's Close and...
I guess we'll have to park here, Annie. They don't let you drive into this alley.
Well, I prefer to walk the rest of the way, Casey. I love to look at these old houses.
Oh, you do, huh? Well, I got my camera and stuff. Come on, let's go.
Okay.
Higgins' studio is that big stone barn at the dead end there.
I'm going to get a big thrill out of seeing his studio and meeting him again. I think Andre Higgins is our greatest living sculptor.
Well, he was. He hasn't been producing top quality lately, though. The art critics say this new bronze group that you're going to interview him about is only run-of-the-mill.
I know. He's too busy playing to really work, I guess.
Yeah. It's a sweet-scented crowd he plays around with, too.
Well, I've never met any of them except his model, Marcel. He's certainly no bargain.
Oh, wait a minute, Annie. She's the only one who is a bargain. That gal's the most gorgeous brunette I've ever looked at.
Really?
Well, I mean of her type, Annie.
I don't know how a cultured, mature man like Andre Higgins can stand having her around, let alone be in love with her, as he apparently is.
Well, at least she's not dangerous. I can't say that for one of Andre's other pals.
Who?
Blister Hoagland.
He's a pal of Andre Higgins?
We've seen together a lot.
Oh, Casey, Blister Hoagland's suspected of a couple of murders. The cops have been trying to nail him for years.
Uh-huh.
How can Higgins associate with a man like that?
I don't know. He's a strange guy. Like all famous artists, he attracts parasites who live on reflected glory. He's either too weak or too good-natured to give him the brush off, I guess. Uh-oh. Hey, look at that guy. He just came out of Higgins' place, didn't he?
Casey, he must be headed for a costume party.
Yeah, look at the green velvet pants on him.
He's fantastic. And that bright yellow smock and a red beret.
If he goes outside of this deserted alley, a cop will pinch him for obstructing traffic. Annie!
What's he doing with that big knife?
He stabbed himself,
Casey.
Annie. Quick, come on.
He fallen to the sidewalk. Oh, I can see the knife handle sticking out of his chest. And his blood.
He drove that blade right into his heart.
Has he? Is he dead?
We gotta get a doctor, quick.
I'm the police.
This guy came out of Higgins' place. Punch that doorbell, Annie, will you?
The door's open.
Hello, Casey. It's William.
Andre, come here. I saw you two from my window, so I... What's happened here? This guy has committed suicide.
We saw him do it.
Good heavens. Well, who is he? Why did he come out of...
Bertram Farland, art student.
Student? Well, he looks at least 50 years old.
Well, I'm glad the poor devil can't hear you say that, Miss Williams. He likes women to think of him as young. He was the life of every party he attended. That should be his epitaph. He was the life of the party.
Poor fellow.
Well, he's gone, and there's nothing we can do to bring him back. Come inside and meet some friends of mine. We're having cocktails. What can I make for you, Miss Williams?
Mr. Higgins.
Wait a minute, Andre. You knew this guy. He just killed himself in front of your door.
And it was most inconsiderate of him. Oh, I know you think I'm callous, but I'm a realist. Well, now that I've spoken so frankly, how about a cocktail? We'll skip it.
Definitely.
Well, now, apparently I've shocked you. My guests are coming out.
Why are you staying outside so long, Andre?
Yeah, what's the big idea?
Andre, I want you to make me another drink. Oh, Casey.
Hello, Marcel.
Oh, mon Dieu. Why is Bert lying on the sidewalk?
He committed suicide, Marcel.
Suicide?
A knife in his chest.
He stabbed himself, Tom.
The poor sap. Did it because of Marcel, I suppose.
Probably, Daisy.
Well, I could not help it if he was in love with me and I did not want to make marriage with him. He knew my heart belonged to Andre.
He should have. You tell the world your heart belongs to Andre when Andre's around.
How do you mean that last part, Daisy?
Never mind. Miss Williams, Casey, you know Marcel, of course. Yes?
Certainement, I know Casey. And Miss Williams?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you've met Mrs. Leland Carmichael. Noted for her wealth, the 5 husbands she's divorced, and her bulky display of diamonds.
Gals who can get husbands get 'em, Andre, and gals who can buy diamonds wear 'em. Glad to meet you, chum. Call me Daisy.
And this is Tom Thompson. He's a mere artist and a bad one.
Candor can sometimes be more unpleasant than refreshing, Andre. Nice to know you, Miss Williams. Mr. Casey.
Thanks.
Now let us all go inside and get a drink.
Oh, wait a minute. We'll have to do something about poor Bert, won't we?
Oh, that's Father Lemley.
Oh, I've never met such a callous, inhuman people in my life.
Neither have I. And Higgins, I never could figure you, but I kidded myself you were a right guy. Now I see you're nothing but a louse. As for these characters you call your friends, why, get out of my way. I'm going into your joint and call the cops.
And I'm going with you.
What?
Oh, they're laughing.
Yeah. Annie, look at the dead guy.
He's getting up.
With the handle of that knife still sticking out.
It's a gag.
Oh,
Now
no.
you fell for it, John.
Miss Williams, Casey, meet the late corpse, Bert Fallon.
Oh, me. If you could have seen yourself when you thought I'd done a harikari.
The old collapsible knife trick and a little red ink to make it look better.
Yeah. The knife blade slipped into the handle when I hit myself. See?
You've been a fine pair of dopes, Casey.
You don't pay a thing. Bert cooked up the joke when I mentioned you were coming, and we watched for you. Why, hope you're not sore.
Oh, no, anything but.
We can take it. And you certainly handed it out.
Yeah. Oh, you'll get a laugh on somebody else before you leave here. I'll see to that.
You can depend on Bert. He's quite a prankster.
Yeah, I know a million gags.
Our little Bert loves fun.
Well, why shouldn't I, Daisy? Fun never hurt anybody.
That's a debatable question.
What do you mean, Tom?
Oh, do not talk so much, Bert. Let's all go inside.
Come on, I want a drink.
Let's go in, Casey. Miss Williams? Oh, close the door, Tom, and keep the common people out.
What a lovely studio you have, Mr. Higgins. It's so big.
Oh, thank
you can lose yourself in this barn. Say, where's Blister?
I forgot that.
Here I am.
Oh, he's sitting behind that statue.
Miss Williams, Casey, let me present Mr. Hoagland.
We already know Blister, Hoagland.
How'd you like the gag they pulled on you, Casey? Pretty good, huh?
Good enough. We fell for it.
I know. I was watching from the window.
Why didn't you come outside with the others? You'd have made the gag better.
Just how?
Well, if I'd seen you around, I'd have thought Bert Fallon's phony suicide was a murder.
Why would you have thought that?
You've done several jobs of killing, haven't you?
Cops never proved it.
They'll get the goods on you someday. Your luck will run out.
I don't like this kind of talk.
Mister.
Okay, Andre, I'm a good-natured guy who never loses his temper. Casey's sore because Bert's suicide gag made him look like a sap, and he's trying to needle me to get even. But I'm a good sport. I can take things as they come and laugh.
Oh! My foot's on fire! The old hot foot gag, Blister. I snuck up and stuck a match in your shoe. I told you, Casey, you'd get a laugh on somebody
You
else.
lousy little clown out.
Let him go, Blister. Let go of him or I'll...
Okay, Casey. Sorry, everybody. The joke's on me. Have a drink with me, Bert, old pal. Let's all have a drink. Come on.
Hey, Andre, make me one of my specials.
Blister would have killed that little man if you had stopped him, Casey.
Yeah.
We really stepped into something when we came here today.
I'll say we did.
I'd like to get out of here, Casey.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, you came here for an interview, and until you get it, we
I
gotta
know.
stay.
I simply haven't been able to pin Higgins down. He's all over the place.
So is everybody else.
How can a man like Higgins put up with such people? They have no talent, no intellect, nothing to recommend them.
Daisy, that big overstuffed gal, told me this was dear Andre's inner circle.
Oh. Casey,
Huh?
you think all those diamonds that Daisy wears are the real thing?
No, she told me they're imitations. All except the big headlights she wears on her finger. That's a lot of carats of the real McCoy. She says she's superstitious. She always wears it because her first husband gave it to her for luck.
She's taking a big chance wearing anything valuable around a crook like Blister Hoagland. And I wouldn't trust that Marcel very far either.
You don't like Marcel, do you, Eddie?
I never met such a phony. Look at her over there. Chewing gum like a chopping machine. And playing footy-footy with Thompson.
Seems to be a little double timing going on with that young artist. She's been Higgins' gal for a long time.
Huh.
Here comes Higgins.
Well, what are you two doing there by yourself?
Your party sort of wandered away from us, Andre.
People do scatter out in this big barn. Come on, the barn. Let me fill your glass.
No, thanks. We're working people.
I got to get that story from you, Mr. Higgins.
Now, you can ply me with questions over the next drink, Miss Williams.
Is that a promise?
Definite promise. Come on now.
Well, okay.
Hi, Daisy. I found him in the jungle, and I'm bringing him back alive.
Good hunting, chum.
Marcel, Tom, you gather around, too.
Tommy, Andre wants us.
The master's voice.
I'm not going to get that interview, Casey.
Not right now.
Blister!
What do you want? I'm gathering the clan. Come to the bar. I was grabbing a nap. I'm gathering the clan. I'm bringing in the sheep.
Higgins has gotten himself a snoop boy.
So is Daisy. Look at her.
Now that we're all together, now, quiet all of you, please.
Now that we're all together, my dearest friend.
We're not all here. Where's Bert?
Oh, yeah. Now, where's Bert? Oh, hey, Bert!
Andre, chérie, maybe he's asleep someplace. Do not wake him up. It is so peaceful here without...
Oh, now we need Bert, Marcel. He's always the life of the party. The party's better without his kind of life. No unfunny comedy, no practical jokes. Tom. Bert's our pal. Yeah, maybe your pal.
The last gag he pulled handed me a swell laugh. Your foot still feel hot, Blister?
Yeah, that was very funny, Daisy.
The way you took it was. Trying to kill the poor twerp.
Now lay off, will you?
Maybe I'd better, knowing your reputation.
I gotta find Bert. Bert! Yeah, where is Bert?
Sorry, while Andre is looking, you fix me a fresh drink.
Okay, Marcel.
Will somebody have a stick of chewing gum? Oh, I forgot. Nobody uses it but me.
We sometimes get the benefit of it after you've used it. You shouldn't stick the wads of it on chairs. Fill my glass too, Tom. Here.
Ow!
What's the matter?
My ring. My ring's gone.
You're
My
kidding.
big diamond, the real one.
Well, you had it on me. You were talking to me, Daisy.
I know it, Casey. I was talking to you and Bert about... Bert! He was holding my hand after you left. He slipped it off.
Bert wouldn't steal a ring.
Well, of course he wouldn't, Tom. It's another of his unfunny jokes. Where is I run? Let me get my hands on him.
Don't that hand me a lad.
Oh, shut up, Blister.
Marcel, Casey.
Yes,
Everyone. What's the matter? Come here.
What is it?
I just found Bert. Dead.
Dead?
Is this another gag? No. He's not breathing. I think he's been murdered.
Our story will continue in just a moment. Nothing is quite so comforting as a good hot cup of coffee, particularly the first thing in the morning. But that's the very time of day when everyone is in a hurry. Well, here's a way to enjoy delicious coffee with no fuss or bother of any kind, and in a matter of moments. Simply take a cup, a spoon, and a glass jar of soluble coffee. Put a spoonful of coffee in a cup, and add hot water, and that's all there is to it. But make sure to buy your soluble coffee in a glass jar. Glass jars are easy to open. A quick turn of your wrist, and the coffee is ready. And then, too, your spoon fits easily and conveniently into the wide top of the jar. No trouble in measuring. And last but not least, glass jars protect the flavor and freshness of soluble coffee perfectly against moisture or contamination of any kind. Now, most of the better packers of soluble coffee protect their products by using clean, sanitary Anchor glass containers and Anchor caps. Both products of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
I found him lying here, behind the statue, just as you see him, Casey.
Oh, he's dead, all right.
A knife through his throat.
In just the right spot, Anne, so he'd make no sound.
Who could have killed him?
It had to be someone here, Marcel.
Definitely. You tried to kill him earlier this evening, Blister.
Don't you point the finger at me, Daisy.
You've been suspected of other killings.
Now, be careful, Tom.
You did it, please.
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
I think the cops will nail it on you.
With all of you against me, accuse me, maybe they will. But I'm giving them no chance. I'm doing a lamb.
You're not leaving here.
Yes, I am.
He's got a gun, Casey.
Keep away from me, all of you. I'm not taking a rap for something I didn't do. I'm getting out of here. Anyone who tries to stop me gets a bullet.
Andre.
Andre. You shot him. One has a right to shoot an escaping murderer. Luckily, I had a gun. Phone the police, Casey.
Okay, Andre. Good job of shooting you did. Caught Blister squarely between the eyes.
That's the complete story, Casey.
I don't think I've left out anything, Logan.
Now, what do you say, Miss Williams?
Well, I can think of nothing that Casey hasn't told you, Captain.
Yeah. Sergeant, you finished searching those two bodies?
Just now, Captain. There's no diamond ring on the guy who was stabbed or on Blister Hoagland either.
I'll have the man do a detailed search of the studio for us.
Yes, sir.
You know, that ring may have no connection with Fallon's stabbing, Casey.
Look, Logan, when a hunk of ice worth a good $15,000 is missed at about the same time that a guy suspected of taking it is found murdered.
I know. Casey, do you think Blister killed Bert?
Well, Logan, I did. I fell into line with everybody else who was accusing him because I wasn't thinking then. Well, now I don't know.
But you'll testify that Higgins was justified in shooting Blister.
I'll have to. The guy was a murder suspect. He threatened us with a gat, and he tried to escape.
I'd have shot him myself if I'd had a gun.
Not as accurately as Higgins did.
Yeah, it was good shooting.
Higgins told us he does a lot of pistol practice.
Yeah, he told me that when he showed me his permit for the gat he used. You say Higgins discovered Fallon's body.
But your police surgeon says Fallon was dead at least 15 minutes before the discovery was made. You can't think Higgins had anything to do with it.
I'm simply thinking, Miss Williams. Nobody recalls seeing anybody near the spot where Fallon was found?
Well, we were all
was killed.
scattered all over this barn of a place, Logan, moving around. You know what parties are like.
Everyone excepting yourselves has been drinking pretty heavily and was inclined to be quarrelsome.
Marcel hadn't had much to drink.
Too busy crunching gum.
Higgins wasn't quarrelsome.
And he was tight.
Until he found the body, that sobered him up.
Yeah, it naturally would. The fat gal who lost her ring. He have a lot of dough?
A couple of millions, Fallon told him.
What about Thompson?
Thompson's an art student. He goes in for surrealism, that kind of stuff.
Goes for that Marcel, babe.
Yeah.
Captain Logan.
Yes, Sergeant?
We just found a ring.
The diamond ring?
There's no diamond in it, sir. The stone's been pried out.
Pried out?
Let me see.
Here.
Yeah. Prongs have been forced apart.
That's the setting that held Daisy's diamond, Logan.
Uh-huh. Now bring the fat gal in here, Sergeant. Bring all the witnesses in here.
Yes, sir.
Well, this proves that ring wasn't simply lost.
It doesn't prove, but it certainly indicates.
And how, Logan? Look. Bert Fallon slipped the ring off Daisy's finger as a joke, but somebody saw him do it and got an idea. And that somebody killed the little guy, took the ring, pried out the $15,000 stone because it was easier to conceal, and he just sat tight. Then when Fallon's dead body was discovered, it was a cinch that Blister would be immediately suspected and accused of the murder. And if he'd gotten away with his run out, even for a short time, no one would believe that he hadn't stolen the diamond in addition to knifing Fallon.
Now, Higgins' gunshot spoiled things for the real thief and killer.
Sure, because Blister was killed before he could leave this studio. And your search of his body proves he didn't have the diamond.
Now, if your theory is right, it eliminates Higgins and the fat gal. She had no reason to steal her own diamond.
It leaves only Thompson and Marcel.
Yeah.
Casey, I think your theory is 100%.
Well, thanks, Eddie.
All right, inside.
Sergeant finally bringing him in.
Now, let's go over and meet him halfway. Now, you people sit down. Make yourselves comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
Here's your pet chair, Marcel.
Oh, thank you, Tom.
Have you found my ring, Captain?
We haven't found your diamond, Mrs. Leland Carmichael.
Oh, dear.
And they will find it, Dave.
Well, I hope so, Andre. You know it's my luck.
I'm going to ask a few personal questions, starting with you, Mr. Thompson.
All right.
Have you any money of your own?
That is personal.
I can get it from other sources if you don't tell me.
I'm an artist. A bad one, many people think, which means I'm always broke.
Yeah. Thanks. What's your financial status, Marcel?
Why, I have only what I make as a model and what Mr. Higgins gives me besides.
What do you give her besides, Mr. Higgins?
I'm afraid I haven't been very generous with Marcel.
Oh, but you have, Sherry. $100 a month just for spending money?
Give you any diamonds?
No. I do not care for diamonds.
Any woman who says that is a liar.
Do not say I lied, Daisy.
Pipe down. Marcel, Thompson.
Huh?
Which of you two has that stolen diamond?
Stolen diamond?
Which one of us?
Bluff won't do you any good. You hand it over, or must we search the two of you?
Oh, I have never been so insulted. Search me immediately. I demand that you search me.
You seem very sure of yourself.
Of course she's sure. This girl wouldn't steal anything, Captain.
Now, we're going to see about that, Mr. Higgins. Sergeant, send for a matron to search this girl.
Right, Captain.
Say, Logan, maybe you can save yourself a lot of trouble.
Huh?
A quick way to hide a diamond would be to wrap it in a wad of chewing gum.
Chewing gum?
Yes. There's one on the edge of Marcel's favorite chair.
Now, let's see.
Marcel is the only one here who chews that stuff.
I put nothing inside my chewing gum.
Someone put something inside this
Here's
wad.
a knife, Logan. Scrape the stuff off.
I didn't. I swear I didn't.
It's a diamond.
It's my diamond.
I didn't.
We'll go into that at headquarters, Marcel, thoroughly. I'm taking you there now.
No, do not let him, Andre. Help me.
Wait. I stole that diamond, Captain.
You, Thompson?
Yeah. I hid it where you found it. Now, let Marcel go.
You think this Thompson's confession was just a noble act, huh, Casey?
Oh, sure.
Of course it was, Ethelbert. So was Lowe.
So am I. Thompson's so crazy about that phony Marcel, he'd go to the chair to protect her.
Maybe they both done it together. You say the suspects was eliminated down to just them two?
On the basis of my theory. But I can't see her doing it cold-bloodedly for no better motive than a diamond too hot to wear and too hot to sell.
Well, she could have had a double motive, Casey. You and Miss Williams say the dead guy was one of them practical jokers. Ain't you ever wanted to knock off one of them pests?
Ethelbert has something there, Casey.
Yeah, maybe a lot. Excuse me, I'm going for a walk.
I'll go with you.
No. I want to be alone. Think. Come in, Casey. Thanks, Andre. Well, I'm not disturbing your work.
Well, I'm scarcely in the mood for work after what happened to you last evening. Anyway, I've been away from the studio until a few minutes ago. I was down to jail with Marcel.
Oh. How is she today?
Oh, she feels utterly friendless. She even thinks I'm against her.
You're trying to help her. You believe she's innocent.
Naturally.
How does she feel about Thompson?
The idiot's phony grandstand confession strengthened the circumstantial case against her.
That was the net result of it. Mind if I sit down on this?
Oh, yes, please do. Oh, are you paying me this unexpected but welcome visit as a newspaper man or as a friend, Casey?
Just as a guy. Oh. Hey, Andre, what's your frank opinion of Mrs. Leland Carmichael, Daisy?
Why, all around good fellow?
Very superstitious, isn't she?
That's right.
And so I gathered from her talk about that ring. She kind of got on my nerves last night. She's too common. She's too bossy.
Well, Daisy can be a bit trying.
Yes, and Marcella, $1 million worth of looks and quarters worth of brains. She'd be hard to take as a steady diet.
Now, really, Casey,
Lister was hard to take, and Thompson and Bert Fallon. But all these people had fastened onto you like leeches.
What are you driving at?
Just this. You saw a chance to get rid of all of them in one sweep last night, and you took it. You got Daisy's diamond, you planted it to frame Marcel, you killed Fallon, and then Blister, so you could be free.
How will you prove this idea of yours?
The cops will prove it when I sell them.
You haven't done that yet.
No. I wanted to spring it on you first and see how you'd react. Your face has told me that my theory is good.
What does this reaction tell you?
I thought the cops impounded that gun you killed Blister with.
They did. This is another. No one else will realize the motive for what I did. I didn't kill for profit or because of hatred. I simply had to be free to the friends who were wrecking my life. They were driving me mad. I was too weak, too cowardly to send them away. Now you threaten my freedom. So I must kill again.
No, you don't. You broke out his gun, Sergeant. Get the cuffs on it. Yeah.
Oh, hold on, Captain. Logan, I was beginning to think you'd make your play just a little too late. You policemen were hiding it.
Yeah. We let ourselves in here while you were visiting Marcel at the jail.
Casey, you said you hadn't told anyone. I'll never trust a newspaper guy, Andre. We're terrible liars.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. 1 week from tonight, when we join you on the air, it'll be Christmas. But there are still 5 shopping days ahead. And if you put off any of your Christmas shopping until this last hectic week, here's a very simple solution. Between now and Christmas, your favorite chain store, department store, and other stores selling chinaware and glass will be featuring the amazing new Anchor Glass heat-proof dinnerware known as Jadeite. And that's spelled Jadeite. Jadeite. Now, Jadeite has the beauty of fine Chinese porcelain. It has the color of oriental jade, yet it's as sturdy as the Fire King oven glass you use for baking. And Jadeite prices will be particularly easy on your Christmas budget. For instance, a complete 35-piece service for 6 costs less than $5. And Jadeite in open stock is unbelievably low in cost. So be sure to ask for Jadeite by name. Jadeite, the newest triumph of anchor hocking. The most famous name in glass.
I gave you your notion about Higgins, Casey?
You sure did, Albert. When you said everybody would like to kill pests.
Yeah, but nobody does kill them. They just say they'd like to.
Well, there's always the exceptional person.
A fact naturally only realized by an exceptional person like Mr. Casey.
Exactly, Miss Williams, and thank you, Miss Williams.
You're welcome.
Well, anyway, when I started to think seriously of pest extermination as a motive, the parts that hadn't fit fell right into place.
There's two parts that don't fit for me.
What's that?
Higgins killed Fallon, framed Marcel for the murder and robbery, and then shot Blister Hoagland to make the frame stick. Got 3 pests he figured out of his way, but he wanted to be rid of 2 more. Thompson and Daisy.
Well, Marcel was the attraction that made Thompson hang around Higgins' place. Once she was removed, he'd be removed.
And Daisy was intensely superstitious. She'd never risk her luck around Higgins again.
Oh. I don't approve of Higgins' methods, Casey, but I got sympathy for his feelings. Oh, how I'd like to make a clean sweep of a lot of pests.
Good night, Ethelbert.
Yeah. Oh, good night, Grace.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Caps and Closures, all products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Deep. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Salvation Army kettles are here. Help bring the other million a bit of Christmas cheer. Let's make this Christmas a happy one for our American kids by dropping a coin in a Salvation Army Christmas kettle. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.